Hello, everyone, and welcome back to WCBN sports coverage of Michigan softball, live here from Alumni Field for the last time this year. It is senior day, and it is a beautiful morning here in Ann Arbor. My name is Charlie Brigham. Alongside me, Jared Greenspan. And we've got a good one cooked up for you, folks. Michigan facing off against Minnesota, as I said, in the last home game of the 2022 season for this Wolverines team.
Yeah, should be a good one today. It's the rubber match of the three-game set. The Wolverines dropped the opener on Friday, a 3-2 Golden Gopher victory, and then rebounded yesterday with the 1-0 shutout win on the back of Alex Derocco. And so in this penultimate series of the regular season, Michigan looking to grab a victory and push their record to 31-15. It's been a disappointing year for both of these teams, traditional Big Ten powerhouses. Since 2007, that was the last time that neither one of these teams won the Big Ten regular season conference championship. There'll be a different winner this season, but still plenty left to play for between these two sides.
Absolutely. You mentioned the penultimate series of this season for the Michigan Wolverines. They head to Madison, Wisconsin next weekend to face off against the Badgers before heading to East Lansing in 2 weeks for the annual Big Ten tournament. And that could decide Michigan's future for the rest of the oncoming season. But with that, both teams head to their dugouts. Michigan takes the field, and we are just a few minutes from being underway. It's going to be Megan Beaubien in the circle for the Michigan Wolverines. A bit of a defensive change from normal. It's going to be Kiki Thole behind the plate today instead of Hannah Carson. But other than that, it's pretty much like usual. Ellie Sieler in left field, Christina Burkhart in center, Audrey LeClaire in right, and then left to right in the infield. It's Bump, Mcveigh, Livingston, and rounding it out at first base, it's Lexi Blair.
Key for Michigan today will be to find some offense. Wolverines bats, as they have for most of the season, have sputtered and stalled. Just 3 hits on Friday. Worked out just enough offense yesterday. 1 run was all Alex Derocco needed. See if they could break out in a big way today in the final game at Alumni Field for the 2022 season.
That's really been just the story of the season, though, as you mentioned, Jared. It's just Michigan hasn't been able to get the bats going when they've needed to. And, you know, you look at their record right now, they're overall 30-15, 10-8 in the Big Ten, but so many of those games were 1-run, 2-run ball games where they just weren't able to put runs across the board.
And games where that one big hit, which proved to be elusive, would have made the difference.
The throwdown comes from Kiki Thole, and we are just about underway. Leading things off for Minnesota is going to be Lauren Espelin. Following her, it's going to be Jensen, then Evans batting third. Batting cleanup is Danhartov. Straylow batting fifth. Dowell batting sixth. Kinch batting seventh. Dre batting eighth. And rounding things out is Kayla Chavez batting ninth. So here we go. Beaubien takes her usual stroll to the back of the circle, and now she'll settle in. Lauren Espelin standing tall on that left-handed batter's box. A .364 hitter on the season. And we are underway. The corner's playing up. The windup from Beaubien. And the first pitch, missing high and outside for ball number 1.
You mentioned that .364 average for Espelin. She also has 48 hits, edging her teammate Natalie Danhartov by just 1 for the team lead.
Also a .462 on-base percentage, something you love to see out of your leadoff hitter. The 1-0 pitch on the way from Megan Beaubien. This one, her coveted changeup right down Broadway for a called strike 1.
Saw that pitch throw Espelin off balance a little bit as she takes a practice hack before hopping back into the batter's box.
That pitch is iconic as they come for Megan Beaubien. That's been her bread and butter throughout her illustrious career here with the Wolverines. The 1-1 hit on the ground towards Melina Livingston and thrown over to first base. Almost an errant throw, but a nice stretch by Lexi Blair for out number 1.
Not the best throw by Livingston. Was a bit of a cue shot off the bat of Espelin, and Blair did well reaching across her body up to the left to snag that softball.
Skies are currently clear, although a little bit cloudy, but it did rain a bit this morning, so you got to think there's some residual moisture on the ground that could come into play here today. But with that will bring up Ellie Jensen, another left-handed bat at the start of this Golden Gopher lineup. First pitch her way, just missing below the knees for ball number 1.
Espelin and Jensen, these two seniors batting first and second in the Golden Gophers lineup. It's pivotal to keep them off the base paths with those .364 and .303 batting averages.
Corners playing up, middle of the infield playing even with the bags. The 1-0 to the slapper. Jensen hit right back at Beaubien, and she's going to flip it over to first base. And that's 2 up and 2 down as the wet ball getting showed off again there as Lexi Blair launches the throw around into the outfield.
That ball almost got stuck in Beaubien's glove for half a second. Again, that wet ball playing a bit of a factor here, but she does well to field her position with ease. And so 2 up, 2 down for the lefty Beaubien.
That'll bring up the third Minnesota hitter and the third straight lefty to start things off. It's going to be the right fielder, Chloe Evans, to get things going.
Evans with 41 RBI leads Minnesota.
Deep breath from Beaubien. Now the fresh delivery. This one a changeup. Again, missing just below the knees.
And you see that changeup already just 2+ batters in, proving very effective. It's throwing these Minnesota hitters off balance, which is exactly what it's supposed to do.
The delivery on 1-0 from Beaubien. This one another changeup. Hitting what looked to be almost the exact same spot, but a nice frame by Kiki Thole there. Flips the call the other way. It'll even it out at 1-1.
That's Peter Blair, the home plate umpire for today's ballgame.
This just speaks to the confidence of Megan Beaubien. 2 straight changeups down the middle to a hitter this season with 9 home runs. She goes rise ball on the 1-1, and it's popped up foul over the net. And a nice grab by the fan gets some cheers here from the crowd at Alumni Field. Following the pop-up, it'll be 1-2 with 2 outs. Minnesota still with no runners on, looking to get something going here early. Beaubien takes a long time checking the wristband. Now set to deliver on 1-2. The pitch, rise ball high and outside.
Beaubien faced this same Minnesota lineup on Friday. Pitched well, 7 innings, gave up 3 runs, but it was one swing that did her in, a 3-run shot off the bat of Natalie Danhartov, who looms on deck, and that was enough to give Minnesota the 3-2 victory.
The 2-2. This one popped up again, and it's going to make its way over the grandstands in foul.
She's looking to strike out her first batter of the afternoon, fan 9 Golden Gophers in that outing on Friday.
Rubs the ball on the left pant leg, now checks the wristband. The 2-2 once more from Megan Beaubien. Evans set to receive, and she chases the rise ball upstairs. Beaubien sits her down, and that's going to bring Michigan to the bottom half of the inning.
Beautiful sequence there from Beaubien. She started off the at-bat with 2 straight changeups right at the knees, 1 for a ball, 1 for a strike, and then from there on, Evans' timing was just off for the entirety of the at-bat. She couldn't iron out a few rise balls and then chased the very high rise ball. Beaubien just reared back, blew it right by her. So the change of pace works for Beaubien, who works a 1-2-3 first, which will bring us to the bottom of the first. Michigan looking to get off on the right foot at the plate.
It's going to be the freshman Emily Levitt starting in the circle for the Golden Gophers. And Michigan lineup a little bit different than usual. Christina Burkhart batting first, Audrey LeClaire batting second, and then followed by Lexi Blair batting third, Taylor Bump hitting cleanup, Melina Livingston batting fifth, Ellie Sieler hitting sixth, Lexi Voss batting seventh in the lineup for the first time in quite a while, followed by Kiki Thole batting eighth and Ella Mcveigh batting ninth.
Well, Levitt, who will be in the circle this afternoon to start, as you mentioned, we've seen her twice this series. She dazzled on Friday through 5 scoreless innings. She allowed 1 run, but it was unearned. And then yesterday, she pitched 2 innings and scattered 2 hits, gave up no runs. She's thrown 105 pitches across the last 2 days, so we'll see how much she's good for this afternoon, but she'll get the start. And Michigan will try to crack her, just 4 hits in 7 innings against Levitt so far this series.
Levitt shares some instructions with her infield. Now she'll settle in. It's going to be Christina Burkhart to lead things off. A .392 hitter at the top of this Michigan Wolverine lineup. The graduate transfer from UNC has had an incredible impact this year.
She leads Michigan in hits. She leads Michigan in runs. She leads Michigan in RBIs, in doubles, and triples, slugging percentage, you name it. She has done it all atop this Michigan order. In a lineup that hasn't hit with consistency, Burkhart has been the exception.
First 2 pitches her way, both rise balls, both missing upstairs, so she'll have a 2-0 hitters count when she steps back in. Audrey LeClaire looking on from on deck. You want to talk about speed at the top of this Michigan lineup. Between the 1 and 2 hitters, Burkhart and LeClaire, they have 21 stolen bases this season. 2-0 to Burkhart, fouled back.
And they've only been thrown out 5 times between them. So if they are to get on base, tough task for Sarah Kinch behind the plate today for Minnesota.
Burkhart just missed that 2-0 pitch, fouled back into the net. It'll be a 2-1 count now. The sun's starting to poke through the clouds. Delivery from Levitt, catching the outside corner. Burkhart showed bump, but pulled back. Lining up the bat now is Burkhart. She's got a 2-2 count. Levitt looking for the first strikeout of the afternoon for her. This one popped up again, and it'll make its way back into the infield off the net. That net has some serious spring to it.
If you're an infielder, you've got to be alert after the foul ball has been hit also. Usually that task is reserved for the fans.
Like, that ball went off the back net and then made its way to Dowell all the way at shortstop.
See if Burkhart could straighten that one out.
The count sits at 2-2. No outs. And it misses low.
Not chasing anything, and she's drawn the count full. Levitt does not have great control. She's walked 78 batters in just over 133 innings pitched.
14 walks this season for Burkhart, speaks to her plate discipline. The full count pitch on the way. This one hit high in the air towards center field. Plenty of time to settle under it is Danhartov, and that's going to be out number 1.
Hard fought at bat, nothing to show for it for Burkhart.
That will bring up Audrey LeClaire. LeClaire, a .321 hitter on the season, as we mentioned. 10 stolen bases. You know she can fly around the bags. Not much of a power hitter, only 2 doubles and 1 triple on the season. But, again, speaking to the speed, as she knocks this one through the infield on the first pitch. And Michigan's got their first base runner.
Just that high chopper, too tall for Levitt to grab, and split the middle infielders right back through the middle. And here is LeClaire with the speed, as we mentioned, on first base. And Lexi Blair striding to the plate.
Lexi Blair in her last game at Alumni Field. What a career she's had. But she still has time to add on to that legacy here at home. Again, you mentioned, Jared, Audrey LeClaire on first base. And first pitch to Blair is up by her eyes for ball number 1.
See, as we see Carol Hutchins down the third base side flashing the signs, see if they put LeClaire into motion here, try and swipe that bag for a team so starved for offense, getting that runner in scoring position.
The 1-0 to Blair is popped up. It's going to go foul. LeClaire was running. Let's see, Michigan had the hit and run on. That'll even out the count at 1-1. In all reality, it would have been better if Lexi Blair just missed that ball because LeClaire got such a great jump. She was practically at second base by the time the ball was in play. 1-1 to Blair. Change up right down the middle for a called strike 2. Nice pitch there by Emily Levitt.
Both pitchers utilizing their changeups to perfection in the early going here. And against left-handed batters too, which you don't see too often.
Not too much wind here. So it's just pitcher on batter, no elements in play. 1-2 pitch to Blair is fouled back again and makes its way over the grandstand.
Maybe we could grab that one after the game.
Take home a little souvenir.
Why not? One last time here at Alumni Field for the 2022 season. Penultimate regular season weekend. The Big Ten tournament in East Lansing, and regionals looking unlikely.
Levitt's delivery on 1-2 is a slow ground ball dribbled down the first baseline. And the Gophers able to make the play, but Audrey LeClaire ends up on second base. So a productive out for Lexi Blair. And Michigan has a runner in scoring position with Taylor Bump up at the plate and 2 outs.
bump, one of the seniors being honored here today, and what is probably the ultimate game that these seniors will play at Alumni Field. She's a 5th year. Got Lexi Blair, Alex Derocco, Hannah Carson are seniors as well. Megan Bobian, graduate student. So is Christina Burkhart and Melina Livingston.
First pitch towards Taylor Bump is a called strike at her knees. The first right-handed batter in this Michigan lineup that Leavitt will have to face. So righty on righty for the first time. Leavitt taking her time now, checking the wristband. The twist and delivery on 0-1. Missing outside, and we're going to even it out.
A base knock will almost certainly score LeClaire here, who's on second with her fantastic speed.
If she gets a good jump, the ball doesn't have to get much farther out of the infield. 1-1 on the way to Bump. She fired the hips, but decided to pull back, and that was the right call. The changeup from Leavitt, missing low. The count goes 2-1.
Just below the knees, and that's a pivotal pitch there, because now, as you said, the count 2-1 and moves into Bump's favor. Should get a pitch to hit here.
Deep breath from Leavitt. Now the pitch on 2-1. Again, missing low, and that's going to push it 3-1. The catcher, Kinch, looked down to second base and kind of threw a fake throw towards LeClaire, but she didn't seem to care too much about that one.
Well, you see the Golden Gophers certainly cognizant of the speed that LeClaire brings to the table at second base.
3-1 to Bump. Catching the outside corner, and this count's going to go full.
So second full count of the first inning for Leavitt, who, as we mentioned, walks a lot of batters. Was able to retire Burkhart on a can of corn leading off this inning.
78 batters she has walked this year. Bump standing tall on that right-hand side. Full count pitch, 2 outs. Check swing, and they're going to say she didn't go, and she's going to trot down to first base, make it 79 walks on the season. And that's going to bring up Melina Livingston with 2 runners on.
2 ducks on the pond for Livingston, who's driven in 20 runs on the year. There's more out there if she wants them. Batting .325 on the season. Second baseman in today's ball game. And so Leavitt has worked herself into trouble here in the bottom of the first. Can she work her way out of it?
First pitch towards Livingston. Missing low and outside for ball number 1. You know, we mentioned Christina Burkhart as a spark plug from the transfer portal this year, but Melina Livingston has been almost equally as productive, a .325 hitter from the in-conference transfer from Penn State.
Where would Michigan be without the 2 transfers in Burkhart and Livingston?
Not only at the plate, but defensively as well. I mean, Livingston has been a rock all season at second base. The 1-0 pitch from Leavitt her way is hit on the line. That one's going to get down in left field, make its way past the left fielder. LeClaire's going to round third and score. Bump now rounding third. That one's going to go down as a 2-run double from Melina Livingston. And Michigan strikes first.
Well, Jensen gave it her all in left field, but it was an ill-fated attempt from the start. That ball was ducking and diving. There was no way she was going to get to that in time. And once she dove, she basically gave up and let it go right by her because there was no way she was going to stop it on the ground. And by that time, it was ticketed for the wall, an easy double for Livingston, 2-run score. And Michigan gets the big hit that it needs, and that has been so elusive this season. Wolverines drive in a pair. They're up 2-0, and they're 1 run shy of the total amount of runs scored this series. They scored just 2 on Friday and 1 yesterday. They already have 5 batters into the game today.
Just as we're hyping up the transfer student, she knocks in her 22nd RBI of the year and pushed Michigan up top here early at Alumni Field. First pitch on the way to Ellie Sieler was low and outside for ball number 1. So Michigan in a very similar situation to where they were just a few moments ago. 2 outs and a runner on second base. The 1-0 catches the outside corner, and that'll even things out. Ellie Sieler, the freshman, has been a huge part of this team this year as well. I mean, she has been practically perfect in left field, making all sorts of web gem plays, but also just making the smart plays and keeping Michigan in a lot of ball games. 1-1 to Sieler. is hit high in the air towards left field. Plenty of time to settle under it is the left fielder Jensen, and that's going to do it for the side. So we head to the top of the second, but not before Michigan puts 2 runs across on a 2-run double from Melina Livingston.
Some 2-out magic for the Wolverines. Credit to Livingston, but also kudos to Taylor Bump, who worked that full count walk to set the table for Livingston, and then LeClaire also with the base knock able to come home. So it's 2-0 Michigan at the end of 1 here from Alumni Field. The clouds have completely dissipated. It is a sun-soaked, sun-splashed field. Beautiful day for some softball here in Ann Arbor. The ultimate softball game at Alumni Field for the season, and so far so good for the Wolverines. Megan Bobian back to the circle for her second inning of work. She worked an easy peasy 1-2-3 top of the first, a fly out, a ground out, or 2 ground outs rather, and then the strikeout of Evans. Minnesota will bring up Denhartov, Strelo, and Dowell. That's 4, 5, 6 in the Golden Gophers batting order. Denhartov tagged Bobian for that 3-run shot on Friday, which handed Minnesota the victory. See if Bobian can get the best of her this go-around Sunday afternoon.
16 home runs on the season from Denhartov, something Michigan has really been missing all season, which is the long ball. You look at Michigan's lineup for this game at least, and they don't even have 16 combined home runs on the season. I mean, they've just really been struggling to find the power. But, you know, looking back at that last inning, small hits like that from Melina Livingston, those are the ones that add up, and those are the ones that really count.
Denhartov, the senior center fielder, 16 home runs. As Charlie mentioned, she's driven in 34 home runs. How's this for a slugging percentage? .727. Think that's pretty good?
That's just raw power.
Right-handed hitter steps into the box against a left-handed throwing Bobian. As Megan Bobian, the graduate student, 5th-year player, begins her second inning of work with the ball high, 1-0.
Again, Bobian going back to that first pitch changeup. She is not scared of these Minnesota hitters. They got the better of her on Friday, but she's showing that she's still in control.
First right-handed hitter that Bobian is facing this afternoon. First 3 hitters in the Golden Gophers order are lefties. Here comes the 1-0. Denhartov takes it just below the knees, says Peter Blair, and it's 2-0. That one didn't miss by much. Bobian now finds herself behind in the count against a dangerous hitter in Denhartov. 2-0 Wolverines here in the top of the second if you're just joining us. A beautiful day for softball at Alumni Field. Here comes the 2-0 from Bobian. Tails low and away, ball 3. So Bobian doesn't want much of Denhartov, and she's got to be real careful here behind 3-0.
There are definitely worse hitters, there aren't, many hitters that I'm fumbling over my words here.
The 3-0 from Bobian to Denhartov is high, and so it was apparent that Bobian was working around Denhartov as soon as she fell behind in the count. And I think what you were trying to say is best to be careful with her and her .727 slugging percentage.
Yes.
And so that'll pass the baton over to Sydney Strelo, the second baseman, right-handed hitter, batting just .216. Denhartov on first. She's a threat to steal as well. Perfect 12 of 12 bases swiped this season, hasn't been thrown out. Kiki Thole behind the plate. Bobian looking to reset the gears. First pitch, flashing a bunt and taking low and away is Strelo, and it's 1-0. So 5 straight out of the strike zone for Bobian, and that'll induce a meeting in the circle as all the infielders gather. It was easy going in the first inning for Bobian, no trouble at all. 1-2-3 just like that. But 5 straight out of the strike zone to begin her second inning of work. And Bobian will try to resettle and rediscover that first inning groove.
Yeah, again, you know, you're not too worried about walking Denhartov. Obviously, she's got the speed. You mentioned 12 for 12 on stolen bases this season. But from her spot in the cleanup position at batting 4th, every hitter under her until getting back to the top of the lineup is hitting under 300. So, you know, you put her on, you're not too scared, especially with a really good defensive team like Michigan is. You got to put some faith in your defense.
The one thing you got to do is just find the strike zone, and I think that was what the message of that mound meeting, or circle meeting rather, was, is just throw some strikes. Top 4 hitters over and done with. So Bobian back in the circle. The 1-0 is just upstairs on the fastball, and it's 2-0. Some groans from the Michigan faithful on fan. A packed house here at Alumni Field today. Final home game of the regular season. Beautiful day in Ann Arbor. 2-0 to Beaubien as she gets some encouragement from her infielders. Danhartov, the runner at first. Here's the 2-0. Down the middle for a strike. And so after 6 straight balls, Megan Beaubien finds the zone. It's 2-1.
That's all really Beaubien needed there. You mentioned 6 straight balls. Now she got her strike. She settled back in. Now I think we're going to see her just continue to groove like we saw in the first.
Danhartov, the runner at first. Strelo at the plate. 2-1 pitch from Beaubien. Strelo flares it to left, down the line, giving chase, and unable to make the diving catch is Sieler. It's in foul territory, so it's 2-2. Great effort and persistence from Ellie Sieler down the line. That ball did not have a lot of loft on it. It was falling fast, and Sieler almost made a fantastic catch.
Yeah, unable to come up with that one, but again, that just goes back to what we mentioned in the last inning. Sieler has been incredible on the defensive end. I mean, look where she went back to the spot she was just playing.
A lot of ground
Yeah,
covered.
she covered so much ground to even make a play on that ball.
She is nowhere close to the line. Here comes the 2-2 to Strelo. Changeup dips just low, and Beaubien has gone full. She walked Danhartov on 4 pitches to begin the inning, in danger of losing another batter in Strelo here. McKenna Dowell looms on deck, the number 6 hitter in this Golden Gophers order. 3-2 from Beaubien to Strelo. Here's the pitch. Lofted to left center. Sieler over in the gap makes the catch for the first out of the inning as Danhartov trots back to first. So a can of corn on the 3-2 pitch, and Beaubien as the first out of the second.
Not surprised to see Beaubien go back to the changeup there. It's been, like we mentioned, her bread and butter for her entire career, but especially today when she struggled to locate, she's gone to that changeup. It's a pitch she has confidence in, and in a 3-2 count like that, especially when the pitcher is, kind of in control of that at bat, the hitter just kind of has to guess. That's a great pitch to go to.
That'll bring up McKenna Dowell, the shortstop, 260 hitter. First pitch from Beaubien to the left-handed batter, rides high, 1-0. Danhartov on at first after that 4-pitch walk to begin the frame. Beaubien has now fallen behind all 3 batters in this second inning. 2-0 Michigan. If you're just joining us, it was Melina Livingston who got the Wolverines on the scoreboard in the home half of the first with a 2-run double. Beaubien looking for the shutdown inning. Here's the 1-0, just below the knees. Thole held it there for an extra beat, hoping to bait Peter Blair into the call, but he wouldn't budge. And it's 2-0.
Blair's strike zone, at least throughout the limited amount of calls that we've seen from him, has been pretty consistent back there, although a little bit tight.
Not giving that low pitch. See if Beaubien can adjust. Here comes the 2-0. There goes the runner. It's a strike. The throw skips into center field. Danhartov will stay put at second base with her 13th stolen base of the season. She's now a perfect 13 of 13.
And Thole would have had her, too. A lower throw would have pretty much had her dead in her tracks. I mean, she took off.
So 2-1. Beaubien did get a strike on the pitch. A runner now in scoring position in Danhartov. Here's the 2-1. Off speed, just a tad high. Ball 3. So 3-1. Beaubien still having trouble finding that strike zone with consistency. It's eluded her in the second inning after an easy 1-2-3 first. Danhartov on at second after the walk and the stolen base. Hitters count for Dowell. Here comes the 3-1, and she fouls it off down the third base side. It caroms off the netting above the Minnesota dugout. And we'll do another 3-2 pitch.
That netting will protect you from balls coming in the top, but there's still those doorways on either side. And in that last series that I called against Ohio State, there were a few balls that almost took some people's heads off. Just foul ball line drives and making it way right into the dugout.
That one sawed off, not hit particularly hard. 3-2 coming from Beaubien to Dowell. Runner at second, 1 away. Here's the pitch, and it's just high, ball 4. And another walk issued by Beaubien, the second of the inning, puts runners at first and second with just 1 away, and Sarah Kinch, the catcher, coming to the plate.
The Michigan fans unhappy with that one. I mean, that one was close. As we're going to have a pitching change already. It's going to be Alex Derocco to come out into the circle.
And that will do it for Megan Beaubien, who gets a hearty ovation here in what may be her final appearance at Alumni Field. The fifth-year graduate student came back for one more season, using that extra year of eligibility granted by the COVID-19 pandemic. And she has been a stalwart for 5 seasons atop Michigan's rotation. And so she leaves 2 inherited runners for Alex Derocco, the other Bulldog, the 1A to Beaubien's 1B. And Derocco enters into a mess with runners at first and second and 1 away. Michigan staked to a 2-0 lead, but that score in a bit of peril here with 1 away in the top of the second.
We mentioned that obviously might be the last time we see Megan Beaubien throw at Alumni Field, and obviously not the result that you wanted, but that cannot take away at all from the incredible, incredible things that she's done here in her career at the University of Michigan. She's not done yet. We'll definitely see her in postseason play. But with that, it looks like we are pretty much set to go. Derocco is going to bring in the infield for a quick little huddle. And then she'll have work to do here. Runners on first and second with 1 out.
You mentioned Beaubien. Quickly want to run through her ERAs for 5 seasons. 116, 187, 152, 124, and 245. Just spectacular numbers. First pitch from Derocco was fouled straight back by Kinch, who was up there hacking, and it's 0-1.
Derocco just coming out, burning the ball into the glove of Kiki Thole, not wasting any time.
Oh, 1 count. Derocco deals to Kinch. Fastball on the inside corner, 0-2. So in contrast to Beaubien, Derocco has come out darting strikes. And she's ahead of Kinch, who's a 238 hitter. Right-handed hitter against now a right-handed pitcher in Derocco. And 0-2 rides high. Kinch does well to lay off it.
Derocco showing confidence that she can just blow it by Kinch. Goes to the rise ball on 0-2. Interested to see where she goes here.
1-2 the count. 2 runners on base. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. She struck her out. Went upstairs, and Kinch couldn't lay off this go-around. And Derocco right into the game and right into the book with a strikeout.
Goes back to the rise ball on 1-2. And able again to just blow it by Kinch. She had no shot at that one.
The Golden Gophers' fate now left to Megan Dre, the first baseman, hitting 236. First pitch from Derocco, cut on and miss. And it's 0-1.
Alex Derocco just doing what she does best. 3rd in the nation in total strikeouts this season. And, I mean, she's just been incredible.
Danhartov, the runner at second, she walked. So did Dowell, who's on at first. The 0-1 rides high, 1-1. Against Derocco, it'll be crucial if the Golden Gophers hitters can lay off that rise ball. Kinch wasn't able to. Dre has already whiffed on 1. 1-1 coming. And it catches the outside corner at the knees. Peter Blair hasn't been giving that low strike, but gave it to Derocco there. And now it's 1-2. Derocco a strike away from stranding both inherited runners. And bailing out Beaubien. Here comes the 1-2, just upstairs on a fastball, and it's 2-2.
Yeah, Blair definitely did Derocco a favor there. That one probably the farthest pitch outside the zone that we've seen called today. And Megan Dre is going to call a quick timeout and go confer with their third base coach.
So 2-2 the count. Derocco entered this ball game a batter ago after Beaubien walked 2 in the top of the second and getting just 1 out. She fanned Sarah Kinch rather effortlessly, and now it's 2-2 on Megan Dre as she tries to strand Danhartov at second and Dowell on at first. It's 2-0 Wolverines here in the top of the second. Both runs scored on a double from Melina Livingston. 2-2 the count. 2 runners on, 2 outs. 2-0 Michigan in the top of the second. Derocco rears and fires, and it's just outside. Went to the off speed, and she's worked the count full. Kayla Chavez looms on deck. Dre back into the batter's box. We'll do it again. 3-2 the count. 2 on, 2 outs. Derocco looks in for the shine. Here comes the pitch to Dre. Fouled straight back. And we'll have a 7th pitch of the at-bat upcoming.
Full count, 2 outs. Runners are going. So, again, you just got to be cognizant of that. Both runners are going to be looking to just book it around the bases, so got to get the ball in quick from the outfield if it makes its way there.
And Danhartov has speed at second, 13 stolen bases on the year, including 1 in this inning. Here comes the 3-2 pitch, and it skips in, blocked by Thole. And a hard-fought walk earned by Megan Dre loads the bases up for Kayla Chavez. So Derocco struck out Kinch, got ahead of Dre 1 and 2, and credit to Megan Dre, worked her way all the way back against a tough pitcher in Derocco and works her way on with the walk. So the bases are full of Golden Gophers, and each got on via a free pass. Danhartov walked, Dowell walked, and Dre walked. And now Chavez looking to tie this game or do more damage here for the Golden Gophers. 2-0 Michigan. The lead is tenuous.
Looks like we actually have a pinch hitter. The Golden Gophers are going to go to Emily Hansen, the senior, here to try and deliver and capitalize with bases loaded.
And so Chavez, the freshman, relieved for Hansen. Left-handed hitter against a right-handed hitting Derocco. Perhaps that was the thought process. Here comes the first pitch, and it's upstairs, 1-0.
Derocco going back to the rise ball there to start off this at-bat.
Bases full of Golden Gophers. The 1-0 to Hansen is way high with a rise ball, 2-0. So the same problems that befell Beaubien are now riddling Derocco, who has suddenly lost control of the strike zone. 2-0 to Hansen. Big left-handed hitter. Here comes the pitch from Derocco. Flared down the left field side. It's going to land foul. No one could get to it. Mcveigh gave chase. Sieler gave chase as well. And so 2-1 now as that ball tailed foul.
That one a soft line drive. If it had really any more air under it at all, either Mcveigh or Sieler was going to get to it. They were both flying towards the foul line.
So Hansen will look to iron one out. The 2-1 pitch is way upstairs, sends Thole out of her crouch to go snag it and prevent that one from sailing to the backstop. And it's 3-1. Derocco has nowhere to put Hansen. Danhartov at third, Dowell on at second, and Dre on at first. Here comes the 3-1, and Hansen pops it up. Blair comes in the line and makes the catch, and Derocco gets out of the bases loaded jam by inducing the harmless pop fly. Blair snatches it out of the air. 3 runners stranded for the Golden Gophers. No hits, no runs as well, and it's still 2-0 Wolverines as Derocco bails out Beaubien and herself after she walked the batter, and we're going to the bottom of the second. Michigan up 2-0.
Great pitch there from Derocco, just putting it in the zone and having faith in her defense that they would make the play and bail her out. As you mentioned, it will be Lexi Voss coming up for Michigan, 7, 8, 9 for this maize and blue lineup.
So job well done by Alex Derocco. Came into a runners in first and second with 1 out pickle. Struck out Sarah Kinch, walked Megan Dre, and then fell behind the pinch hitter Emily Hansen 3-1, and was able to induce the pop fly along the first base side. So Michigan still with that 2-0 lead as we head to the bottom of the second. It's 7, 8, 9 due up in the Wolverines order. Voss, Thole, and Mcveigh for Michigan as Emily Levitt goes out for her second inning of work.
Lexi Voss hasn't seen too much action this season, only 24 at-bats. But in those 24 at-bats, she has delivered an RBI and a double. You know she's got the power. She's hit a few throughout her career.
It's been a struggle this year for Voss. She has just 1 hit. She's appeared in 17 games, started 6. She looked to get her season finished off on a high note here. Last home game of the year for the Wolverines. Next weekend, they'll head to Madison for a 3-game set against the Badgers. And then after that, the Big Ten tournament, which will be played just down the road in East Lansing, looms. And then after that, who knows? The postseason fate murky in terms of the NCAA tournament. First pitch to Lexi Voss rides high and sails to the backstop, 1-0. So Levitt, not exactly the pitch that she wanted to throw to begin her second inning of work. Voss, the junior, and the designated player in today's ballgame. And that's fouled back.
That was a big hack from Lexi Voss. Just missing that one, but had she made contact, we might be a little bit more excited than we are right now.
The scoreboard read 0-2 for a second. Wasn't sure if Voss check swing fouled that first pitch, but it's back to 1-1. So 1-1, the count to Voss leading off the second. Takes one inside a fastball, and it's 2-1. Kiki Thole on deck and Ella Mcveigh in the hole. 7-8-9 for the Wolverines here as they look to add to what is a 2-0 lead in the bottom of the second.
That pitch was about as close as they come, but again, home plate umpire Peter Blair keeping his zone tight.
Tight but consistent for Blair is the 2-1 to Voss, and that catches the inside corner. 2-2.
Wouldn't be surprised to see Emily Levitt go off speed here. Her changeup has been working for her, and especially against an unexperienced hitter this season in Lexi Voss.
2-2 from Levitt to Voss, rides high and away, and it's ball 3. So Voss has worked the count full as Michigan looks for a leadoff base runner in the second inning. Thole on deck. Levitt steps out of the circle, strides around, now back into it as she looks to settle in. Good to hear the alumni band getting into it down the third base side. Had a big tuba over there. 3-2 to Voss. Swing and a miss. She struck her out. Chased the high heat. And 1-1 down in the second inning for Emily Levitt.
Nice pitch there again, just going with the rise ball. Got Voss to chase, but she comes up empty. Again, that will bring up Kiki Thole, 8-9, and then top, it's Ella Mcveigh standing over on deck.
Kiki Thole drawing the start behind home plate today instead of Hannah Carson. First pitch to Thole, fouled straight back, and it caroms off that netting again. 0-1. Thole hitting just 163 on the season. She's got 8 hits. 3 of those 8, though, have been home runs, so plenty of power for Thole. Right-handed hitter against right-handed pitcher in Levitt. The 0-1, and Thole fouls that up and over. Straight back, and that's good for a souvenir, 0-2.
Even on these 2 foul balls, Kiki Thole is just showing off her power. She's barely made contact with these pitches, and they've still soared over our heads.
See if she could hit one into fair territory this time. 0-2, Levitt ahead in the count. 1 away in the bottom of the second. Michigan up 2-0. Comes the 0-2 to Thole. Lines it foul down the third base side. Sent Carol Hutchins scampering out of the way. A screamer off the bat of Thole as she stays alive.
Kiki Thole just showing off her quick hands there. I mean, that pitch came up and inside, and she still turned on it hard. You mentioned that ball almost took off Hutch's head. She hopped all the way around and made contact.
Good agility for Hutch, still spry. 0-2 to the count to Thole. Swing and a miss. Or did she get a foul tip? She did. Just barely got a piece of that ball. Went to the off speed, did Levitt, and had Thole flailing way out in front. Nothing and 2 to count. Thole has fouled off 2 straight pitches after falling behind 0-2. Here comes the 0-2, and that rides outside. 1-2. Levitt couldn't get Thole to chase. Ella Mcveigh on deck. 1-2 the count to Thole. 1 away in the bottom of the second. Here comes Levitt's pitch, and Thole able to lay off that changeup, and it's low, 2-2. So a stellar turn at bat unfolding for Kiki Thole. Pitch number 7 upcoming, really making Levitt work.
Kiki Thole showing growth just even in this at bat. I mean, she was way ahead of that first changeup. That one, she read it out of Levitt's hand and sat on it.
2-2 from Levitt to Thole, fouled straight back, and we'll do it again. It's now 38 pitches thrown in an inning and a third for Emily Levitt, who is struggling to retire the Wolverines. Lexi Voss worked a full count to begin the inning, but struck out, and now Kiki Thole about to see pitch number 8.
Yeah, that's something that doesn't show up in the box score, but these Michigan hitters all year have been so disciplined and have done great jobs of working long at-bats.
2-2 the count. Levitt deals to Thole, and it's low, ball 3. So Kiki Thole has worked her way all the way back from 0-2 to 3-2 with a bunch of foul balls thrown in between. 2 straight full counts to begin the inning for the Wolverines. Thole trying to do what Voss couldn't and reach base. Thunderous chance of Let's Go Blue from this packed house here at Alumni Field. Levitt deals the 3-2 to Thole, chops it foul down the third base side. We'll do it again. I've lost count of how many foul balls Thole has hit in this at-bat. I think we're at 5 or 6.
Yeah, it's definitely up there. This at-bat approaching double-digit pitches.
And Levitt has thrown her full arsenal, everything but the kitchen sink at Kiki Thole. Refuses to go down easily. 3-2 count. Levitt to Thole. We'll do it again. Here comes the pitch. Thole hammers it into left field. A base hit. Dowell gave it a chase on the backhand. Couldn't get to it. And what a turn of at bat for Kiki Thole.
Great at-bat by Kiki Thole. We mentioned she was down 0-2 early and just fought off pitch after pitch. And then she sat on that full count. She knew that Levitt had to come to her and drives one through the infield.
And you see that power manifest even in the form of a ground ball, a screamer through the 5-hole, and nothing that Dowell could do to get to it. And so Thole, the one-out base runner, which will bring up Ella Mcveigh, the shortstop, left-handed hitter. Levitt looking to settle back in. First pitch, McVeigh drops a bunt. Charging into field is Chavez, makes the play to first as she nabs the speedy McVeigh by half a stride and moves Thole up to second for Christina Burkhart. So nice play charging in by Chavez. Good for the second out of the inning. Baton pass to Burkhart with a runner in scoring position in Thole.
We have a quick meeting between Hutch and the dugout. Looks like we're going to see a pinch runner here, most likely.
Kara Hutchins now convening with Peter Blair. Not sure what for, and it is going to be for a pinch runner. That's going to be Kaylee Rodriguez, who's going to run for Kiki Thole. Now that Thole is in scoring position, and Burkhart at the dish. Hearty and well-deserved ovation for Thole as she trots off. Rodriguez, plenty of speed out on second base. She's been the de facto pinch runner this season for the Wolverines. Now, Burkhart at the plate. 0 for 1 this afternoon. She popped out to left field to begin the ball game for the Wolverines, which hitting .389, and as we ran through in the bottom of the first, leads Michigan in basically every offensive category. Looking to drive in a run here. First pitch, off speed, catches the outside corner, 0-1.
Pinch runner puts Michigan in a great spot here. As you know, a single might not have scored Kiki Thole with her standing on second base, but with the wheels of Kaylee Rodriguez, anything through the infield will almost assuredly notch another run.
0-1. Burkhart waits for it, chops it to second. Fielding and making the play is Strelo, and that'll retire the side. So Michigan got the runner at second, couldn't drive her in, and at the end of 2 here in sunny Ann Arbor, it's 2-0 Wolverines.
Unfortunately, Michigan leaves a runner stranded, something they've struggled with all year. But they're still up on top, as you mentioned, Jared. 2-0 is the score here at Alumni Field. Michigan putting up 2 runs in the bottom of the first off the 2-run double from the second baseman Melina Livingston that scored both Audrey LeClaire and Taylor Bump. Wolverines take the field again. It's going to be Alex Derocco in the circle after entering for Megan Bobie in last inning. And she'll have the top of the lineup due up for Minnesota. It's Espelin, Jensen, and Evans to start things off. 1, 2, 3. Before heading to Danhartov, Strelo, Dowell, Cinch, Dre, and Chavez.
You mentioned that big hit. Wolverines got it in the first inning via Melina Livingston, unable to get it there. Still lead 2-0, and Storacco back out for more after relieving Bobie in the last frame.
The top of the order for the Golden Gophers went 0 for 3 in the first inning. Going to be looking for something here. It was Espelin and Jensen both grounding out to second base and the pitcher respectively, and then Chloe Evans came up empty on a Megan Bobian rise ball to end the inning. 3 lefties to start things off in Espelin, Jensen, and Evans, all facing off against the right-hander Alex Derocco. The sun is hidden behind the clouds a little bit, so still nice and bright outside, but not quite sunny. The wind has died down as well. The big American flag in center field laying dormant. Derocco wasting no time, goes to the rise ball on 0-0 to Lauren Espelin, but misses upstairs.
These 3 left-handed hitters on top of Minnesota's batting order all saw the lefty Bobian in the first. Now against the righty Derocco, bit of a change of pace.
Derocco slows it down a little bit, but paints the outside corner. Nice change of speeds there to help locate the zone. Espelin, we mentioned earlier, 361 hitter, 5 home runs, 22 RBIs. She can do it all at the top of the order for the Golden Gophers. She hits this one softly on the line in foul territory, and plenty of time for Lexi Blair to make her way over and record out number 1.
And Blair got a great read on that ball, showing off her outfield instincts, jumping on it into foul territory for the out.
So 1 up and 1 down. A quick start to the inning. That'll bring up Ellie Jensen. First pitch her way from Derocco. Changeup that's fouled off awkwardly. Jensen, the slapper, had that one ride high and inside on her and just tried to turn it out of the way, but it caught the bat. So Derocco with a lucky break, and she's ahead in the count here. Checks the wristband. Now the deep breath. The wind up on 0-1. Trying to go high and outside this time, but no good. It'll be ball number 1. Corners playing up, middle of the infield playing even with the bags for the slapper Jensen. Outfield playing in as well. Audrey LeClaire is well in front of the warning track. And again, that awkward little foul ball, same as the first, gets the better of Jensen again.
Jensen running up to try and slap that ball, and twice now she's gotten caught in a weird in-between where she winds up check swing fouling it back to the screen. Not really sure what her initiative is there.
The wind up from Derocco on 1-2. Goes off speed, just missing the outside corner. The Maize and Blue faithful immediately share their displeasure with home plate umpire Peter Blair.
We hear the moans and groans, but they should know better at this point. Peter Blair's calling a tight strike zone.
The count evens out 2-2. Derocco does not seem to be phased. The wind up and delivery. This one missing high and inside. Jensen able to get out of the way of this one. That one's going to push the count full. Full count, 1 out, no runners on. The wind up from Derocco. This one right to the middle of the zone and hit right back at her for a ground out.
Well, that's exactly what Jensen did to Bobian back in the first. So 2 1-3s in your scorebook for Ellie Jensen.
That'll bring up Evans. And you got to think the Golden Gophers are getting a little bit of sense of deja vu. Evans steps to the plate with 2 outs and no runners on. First pitch her way from Derocco, rides inside for ball number 1. We just saw Autumn Pease, the right-handed pitcher, the senior, head down to the bullpen for the Golden Gophers. Evans, the 3rd straight lefty, standing up tall in the batter's box. Derocco, again, just missing outside. That one looked pretty good from up here, but both Blair and Thole have a better look at that one.
And so Derocco's been a little off today with her command. Maybe part of that is a product of the tight strike zone behind the plate.
2-0 hitters count, and Evans just watches a beautiful changeup go by right down the plate for called strike 1.
It's a gutsy pitch, that 2-0 changeup to a left-handed hitter, but Derocco is not one to have many fears on the diamond.
2-1, fouled off again, and now Derocco's even things back out. Evans chased that one upstairs a bit, took a big hack at it, but unable to put it in play. And now here we go. 2 outs, 2-2 count, nobody on. Derocco walks to the back of the circle and now does her iconic spinning the ball in the right hand. And she'll step off as Evans calls a quick timeout. Gathers her thoughts, and now she'll step back in. Thole relays the signs. The windup on 2-2 from Derocco. Popped up. This one has potential to stay in. Thole trying to track it. And making the play is Kiki Thole for out number 3. She had a hard time finding it up in the clouds, but then right as it comes back down, reaches backwards above her head for a great play, and one that will send us to the bottom of the 3rd inning.
Not an easy play to make for a catcher, especially when that ball starts to tail backwards and you have to reach back over your head to snatch it. And that ball just stayed within Kiki Thole's wingspan and able to snatch it indeed. And so 3 zeros on the scoreboard through 3 frames for Minnesota. Michigan's pitching has gone into a little bit of trouble, especially in that 2nd inning, but Bobian and Derocco so far combining for the shutout.
And for the 2nd straight time, the top of the order, 1-2-3 for Minnesota, goes 0 for 3. They did it in the top of the 1st. They do it again in the top of the 3rd. And now it's going to be Michigan's chance to put a few more across. As we mentioned a few times before, Melina Livingston put 2 across in the bottom of the 1st on a 2-run double that scored LeClaire and Bump. Speaking of LeClaire, she's going to be the first Wolverine due up. It's 2-3-4 to start things off. Audrey LeClaire, Lexi Blair, and then Taylor Bump. LeClaire singled and scored her first time up. Bump walked and scored. Lexi Blair grounded out towards first base, but it was a productive out, one that moved the runner LeClaire into scoring position. In the end, it didn't really matter as the double from Livingston scored her anyway. The infield and outfield have a quick little conference as Rihanna plays on the speakers and LeClaire takes her spot in that left-hand side. A deep breath from LeClaire, and now she'll step in. Levitt wasting no time going to the windup as she blows pitch number 1 right by Audrey LeClaire.
It was right by LeClaire and wasting no time indeed. Just LeClaire had no chance to catch up to that one.
LeClaire up at the plate, Lexi Blair on deck. The 0-1 her way. That one missing outside. We're going to even it out 1-1.
Levitt looking to settle in after that rough 1st inning. A little better in the 2nd inning, able to strand the runner at 2nd. See if she could set down the side in order here in the 3rd.
1-1 pitch on the way from the righty Levitt. She goes off speed and it catches the outside corner.
2, 3, and 4 due up in Michigan's batting order. LeClaire, Blair, and Bump. Blair and Bump. Or LeClaire and Bump, rather, both came around to score in the 1st off the double from Livingston.
1-2 pitch on the way to Audrey LeClaire. Levitt goes outside, but missing a little bit farther. It'll go 2-2. Now just 4 pitches into this at-bat. This is the deepest we've seen LeClaire go into an at-bat today. She swung and hit on the first pitch. And now we're going to have a quick timeout as a coach will bring out a visor for Emily Levitt. It is, as we mentioned, the sun is behind the clouds, but it's still weirdly bright here at Alumni Field.
Better safe than sorry with the visor. It's kind of along the same lines where you've got your outfielder with the sunglasses, but the sunglasses are on the top of his head, and then the ball comes and he can't find it in the sun. Like, just throw on the sunglasses.
Visor goes on, and LeClaire steps back under the box. 2-2 pitch on the way. Check swing, that one low and in the dirt. And third base umpire Mark Koras says she didn't go.
And she had every intention of going and just able to stop it in time and work another full count.
The speed of LeClaire would be great to have on base to start things off here.
48 pitches thrown by Levitt so far through 2 innings plus.
The payoff pitch from Levitt. Changeup hits softly back to her. It's going to be a close bang-bang play at first. And Levitt able to recover and get LeClaire for out number 1.
How about that? The pitchers fielding their positions well today. Who says pitchers can't field? Both sides all three pitchers who've appeared today have made each play look very easy that they've had the opportunity to make.
Following the ground out, that'll bring up Lexi Blair. As you mentioned, the pitch count already starting to get up there for Levitt. This one, just her third inning of work. As we mentioned before, Autumn Pease is down there in the bullpen getting some opening reps in. First pitch to Lexi Blair is a called strike right at her knees. 2 home runs this season for Lexi Blair bode well as the wind starts blowing out directly towards center field.
See that flag waving around now.
The 0-1 pitch, a rise ball missing high and outside. It'll even things out.
Good to see that Blair has fully recovered, at least recovered enough to play from that leg injury she suffered a few weeks ago that held her out for quite some time, but been back for a bit now, still wearing that brace.
1-1 to Blair. Missing just below the bottom of the zone. Again, home plate umpire Peter Blair. His tight strike zone favoring towards Lexi Blair in that case.
I presume of no relation, but I guess we didn't ask.
2-1 pitch on the way to the 317 hitter in Lexi Blair. This one hit high and deep towards center field. That one's back to the wall, and forget about it. Lexi Blair sits on the 2-1 pitch and drives it over that center field wall. We were just talking about it. 2 home runs on the season, make it 3, and make it a 3-0 lead for the Michigan Wolverines.
Am I calling this game with Charlie Brigham, or am I calling this game with Nostradamus? That wind in center field blowing out just enough to get that screamer over the fence, and Lexi Blair showing off that power to dead central, the deepest part of that ballpark, and that ball was gone the second it left the bat, making that sound. And on their last game at Alumni Field, Lexi Blair doing what Lexi Blair does.
And now we're going to have a quick timeout as the Minnesota coach comes out to have a quick discussion with home plate umpire Peter Blair, which is flashing back to that ball hit from Lexi Blair. That thing was absolutely crushed. It got out, and it got out in a hurry to the deepest part of the ballpark in dead center field, and that cleared the fence with plenty of room to spare. So now 1 out, no runners on following the Lexi Blair solo shot. That'll bring up Taylor Bump to try and keep the momentum going here in the bottom of the third. Bump walked and scored off the double from Livingston in her first time up. First pitch her way here was a changeup that misses low and away.
And so those hopes of a clean inning for Levitt were dashed, who continues to be knocked around here. 4 hits for the Wolverines, have driven in 3 runs.
Blair stands tall on that right-hand side, righty on righty here. Levitt's delivery, again missing just below the knees. It'll be a 2-0 hitter's count for Bump when she steps back in. Bump a .241 hitter on the season.
She drew that hard-fought walk back in the first, came around to score.
2-0 on the way. Again, changeup missing low and in the dirt this time. It'll be 3-0 to Taylor Bump.
And not sure if that home run has rattled Levitt at all, but she's taken a long time in between pitches, catching that ball from Kinch and then going behind and out of the circle. She's now fiddling with the ball, putting some dirt on it.
3-0 pitch to Bump. Missing high, and that's going to be a 4-pitch walk. Bump didn't have to do much there. Didn't even have to swing the bat, and she'll trot on down to first base with her second walk of the ball game.
And so here is the impetus for Michigan's first 2 runs of the ball game. Melina Livingston ducked a double into left field that fell in front of Jensen and scored LeClaire and Bump to get Michigan off to a fast start in the bottom of the first.
First pitch her way. Change up again, low and in the dirt, scooped up by Kinch before being thrown back to Levitt.
It's 5 straight out of the strike zone from Levitt, who just does not look comfortable out in the circle.
Autumn Pease in the bullpen for Minnesota has transitioned to what looks to be a full warm-up. The start of this inning, she went out there and was just playing a bit of catch, and now At least from what we can see at the top of her head, she seems to be going through the motions.
And Levitt just really looks perturbed out there. He just doesn't look right.
1-0 pitch to Livingston. This one popped up. She took a big hack at it, and Minnesota's having trouble finding it. And finally, it falls into the glove of the first baseman, Dre. And that's going to be good for out number 2.
And that is your definition of a mile-high pop-up along that first base side. Livingston was running up along the first base side, just running it out, and she almost got in the way of Dre. Had to sort of duck and dance around her.
That'll bring up Sieler. She flew out to left field her last time up. Looking to extend this inning with a base runner on. It's 2 outs and Taylor Bump at first. First pitch on the way to Sieler. Called strike as it catches the outside half. Sieler up at the plate. Lexi Voss looking on deck. The outfield shifted a bit towards right field. There's plenty of room down that third base line. As a beautiful changeup from Emily Levitt. Scrapes the outside half, and that's going to make the count 0-2. Sieler going to have to go into plate protect mode here. 0-2 count, 2 outs, and dangers of leaving a runner stranded. The pitch from Levitt. This one hit on the ground. It's going to be a tough play for Dowell to throw across the diamond, and making the play on a nice stretch is Dre.
Nice play by Dowell, moving to her backhand and then throwing off her back foot, the long throw across the diamond, right on the money. So 3-0 Wolverines. Michigan adds to what was a 2-0 lead via a solo shot to center by Lexi Blair. And that's where the score stands now at the end of 3 in Ann Arbor. Clouds rolling back in, still a nice day. We're heading to the top of the 4th as Alex Derocco back out for more. She's gotten 5 outs so far this afternoon, walked 1, struck out 1, allowed no hits, stranded 2 runners of Bobians in the second when she first entered the game. And she's out there in the circle throwing her warm-up pitches as we begin the top of the 4th here on Senior Day in Ann Arbor. Hannah Carson, Megan Bobian, Christina Burkhart, Lexi Blair, Alex Derocco, Taylor Bump all being honored this afternoon. And so far, so good for the Wolverines with that 3-0 lead, and Derocco will look to keep it going. She shut down the Golden Gophers last night, worked her way into and out of trouble, scattering 10 base runners over 7 scoreless. The complete game, stranding the runner at third to end it in the 1-0 victory. Has a bit more of a cushion so far this afternoon, staked to the 3-0 lead, and looking to keep piling up those zeros.
Yeah, as you mentioned, the seniors will be honored after today's game. So if you're in the Ann Arbor area and have the afternoon free, make your way down to Alumni Field to see the senior ceremonies immediately following this ball game.
It's a packed crowd. Hopefully many of them will stick around for after the game here. Hopefully it's a happy ending for them.
Minnesota's still looking for their first run of this ball game. Michigan holds what at the time seems to be a comfortable 3-0 lead the way this season or the way this series is played out.
The Golden Gophers loaded the bases in the second inning, but the pinch hitter Emily Hansen popped out to first. And so it'll be 4, 5, 6 in the order here for the Golden Gophers. Both teams are ready. I think we're just waiting for the TV signal here. We could go yell at them in our booth to our right.
Yeah, you can see Hutch down there with the headset on at first base doing a quick little between inning interview. And now she hands the headset off, and we look to be good to go.
So leading off will be Natalie Danhartov, who drew a 4-pitch walk against Megan Bobian in the second, was stranded at third. We mentioned her power, 16 homers in that .727 slugging percentage. Power on power here with Derocco and Danhartov. Marquee matchup. First pitch, tails low, 1-0.
And Danhartov has more than just power. I mean, we mentioned, and it's up there, 13 stolen bases on the season. She had 1 in her first time up back in the second inning. She stole second after working that walk.
She can certainly do it all. Here's the 1-0. Changeup bends high, 2-0. So Danhartov in an advantageous count, just as she was her first go-around in this one.
That was a beautiful pitch from Derocco on 1-0.
Here comes the 2-0 from Derocco. Ripped up the middle, base hit. Diving try by Mcveigh. That was a scorcher. And Denhartov on at first with a leadoff base runner for Minnesota.
Fortunately for Michigan, Derocco was just able to get out of the way of that one, but it almost hit her ankle. That one would have been bad.
That was a screamer. Hard hit by Denhartov, and that'll bring up Sydney Strelo in the 5-hole. And Denhartov on at first again, have to be conscious of her speed. Stole a base in the second. She's a perfect 13 of 13 on the year. First pitch from Derocco misses the zone, and it's 1-0.
Strelo with 22 RBIs on the season. In a very good position to do some more damage here with Denhartov on first.
And that's up and away 2-0. So Derocco has fallen behind both hitters 2-0 to begin this 4th inning. Not what you want, especially with the 3-0 lead. Just got to go right after them. Denhartov, the runner at first. Strelo at the dish. Here comes Derocco's 2-0. That catches the zone at the top of the letters, and it's 2-1.
You see on that pitch, Denhartov took a slightly shorter secondary lead as Kiki Zoll on the 2-0 pitch looked right down at her.
Comes the 2-1 from Derocco. Strelo chops it to the left side. On to second for the force is Mcveigh. And so it'll go down as a 6-4 force out. Denhartov and her speed wiped off the bases. 1 out. Strelo now the runner at first. And McKenna Dowell coming to the plate.
Nice play there by Mcveigh to get the lead runner and really the more dangerous runner with the speed of Denhartov.
So McKenna Dowell, who drew a walk against Beaubien that ended her day in the second at the dish. Left-handed hitter takes the first pitch fastball for a strike, 0-1. That force out a win for Michigan. Strelo much less speed on the bases. Just 1 steal on the year. Dowell at the dish. Derocco fiddling with the softball. Here comes the 0-1. Rides high, 1-1.
Corners playing even with the bags. Middle of the infield playing back in double play depth. As we mentioned, the speed of Strelo and Dowell is not even comparable to that of Denhartov. So a very, very fortunate situation for Michigan. They have a very good chance to turn a double play here.
1-1, beautiful changeup, clips the zone. It's 1-2. Just totally buckling Dowell's knees. That's Derocco in the driver's seat.
Wouldn't be surprised to see Derocco change speeds and go back to the rise ball here, try to blow one by McKenna Dowell.
Here comes the 1-2 to Dowell, way upstairs, rise ball indeed, but Dowell able to lay off, and it's 2-2. 1 away here in the top of the 4th. Runner at first is Strelo. Dowell at the dish. Looming on deck is Kinch. As Derocco calls for time. Got a shoelace to tie.
You know, the weather is beautiful as it was last weekend when I called, or 2 weekends ago rather when I called against Ohio State. It was beautiful, you know. It was like 75, 80, and sunny, but 62, partly cloudy, a little bit of a breeze. I mean, this is just so comfortable.
Comes the 2-2. Ripped down the first base line and into right field, a base hit. Rounding second is Strelo. She's going to be waved home and now slams on the brakes. She'll stop at third, as getting it in very quickly in right field is Audrey Leclerc, who darted a strike to Lexi Blair to hold Strelo at third, and there's where that force out makes a difference. If that's Denhartov at first, she might be home right now. But the difference in speed, Strelo had to be held up at third base. Took a wide turn, but skidded it on the brakes. Nonetheless, a hard-hit double off the bat of McKenna Dowell. Runners at second and third with 1 away, and Michigan finding itself in a jam again.
You mentioned if that's Denhartov on the base path, she most likely scores, but also if there's anybody else besides Audrey Leclerc in right field, I would say at least 1 run scores. She turned on the burners to get to that ball in the corner.
Leclerc got to it quick. Not only did she do that, she delivered a strike hitting Lexi Blair, the cutoff man. So meeting in the circle as Michigan finds itself in a precarious position for the second time today. Derocco able to wiggle out of trouble in the second. Golden Gophers had the bases loaded with 2 outs and a 3-1 count. but Derocco was able to induce an inning-ending pop-up.
Looks like the Golden Gophers are going to elect to pinch hit for Kinch here. They're going to go with the sophomore Mackenzie Denson.
Denson, a 158 hitter on the year, hitting .222 with runners on base. Doesn't have a base knock, though, with runners in scoring position. 3 for 19 on the year. Looking to pick up her first RBI, but the Golden Gophers preferring the switch will go with the left-handed hitting Denson against a right-handed throwing Derocco. Kinch was the first batter that Derocco faced back in the second inning, and Derocco blew her away on a strikeout rather effortlessly. So Golden Gophers looking to change it up. Jensen, the batter. The runner at third is Strelo. Dowell, the runner at second. First pitch from Derocco to Denson is flared to center. Easing back and making the catch is Burkhart. Tagging and coming home to score is Strelo with the first Golden Gophers run of the game. And it's a 3-1 ball game as Denson comes off the bench and gets the job done, driving in the run. So a sac fly to the center fielder. And 2 away now. Dowell still at second. And Megan Dre at the plate.
Minnesota starting to close the gap a little bit.
First pitch from Derocco to Dre, fouled towards us.
That ball is the first one I've seen in a long while get over this net in front of us.
I don't think I've ever seen that.
Makes its way into the little standing room only.
My window's closed. Yours is open.
I'm ready for one.
And that one's cut on and missed, 0-2. So Derocco has come back darting strikes and looking to limit the damage to just 1 run. Michigan still up 3-1 here in the top of the 4th. Dre walked back in the second. 0-2 the count. Derocco deals. Fouled straight back. We'll do it again.
I'm telling you, though, like you said, my window's open. If one comes my way, I'm ready for it.
I mean, I shouldn't really be doubting your skills considering what I saw you do when we were on the call for the round of 32 Michigan-Villanova basketball game.
That is true. I did catch a ball live on air during that game. That was awesome.
One of the more impressive things I've seen. Speaking of impressive, Derocco climbs the ladder, gets Dre swinging, and she limits the damage to just that 1 run. 2 hits, 1 run for the Golden Gophers, and 1 left at second base. 3-1 Michigan on top as we head to the bottom of the 4th here at Alumni Field. Senior Day, the final home game of the regular season for the Wolverines. It's been a disappointing year for Michigan, traditional Big Ten powerhouse, sitting at 30-15, 10-8 in conference. 7th place in the Big Ten. Hasn't been the year that many envisioned and anticipated, but looking to close out their home slate on a high note today, and they're halfway there to doing that.
It's going to be Levitt to take the circle again, and again, another sense of deja vu. It'll be Lexi Voss starting things off for the second time today. She did back in the bottom of the 2nd, and she'll be starting things off here in bottom 4.
7, 8, 9 coming up for Michigan. We've got a race around the outfield. Red shirt's onto the lead. Blue shirt falling way behind. Red shirt racing, red shirt in center field. Red shirt still going. Blue shirt is lagging behind. And red shirt's going to win this one easily. Blue shirt might not make it.
It is a relay
Oh,
race,
it's a
though.
relay. Red shirt switches it over to other red shirt. Interesting change-up strategy for blue shirt to yellow shirt. Yellow shirt way behind. Other red shirt blazing around the track. Red shirt at the 222 sign. Red shirt still going. Yellow shirt trying to make up distance. Only thing that'll happen is if red shirt falls, and red shirt's going to win this race easily.
I mean, I could have told you that was coming from a mile away. They had matching uniforms, the 2 red shirts with the white stripe down the back. Awkward exchange technique from blue shirt to yellow shirt. Overall, just poor performance from team unmatching colors.
Blue shirt dug his team in a hole on the first leg of the relay, and yellow shirt just couldn't recover. Needs to train. Maybe next year.
Or maybe it's just the matching shirts. Like, maybe that's what the recipe for success is. It's just an intimidation factor.
I was going to say, if I was in a relay with matching shirts, I would be intimidated. We digress. 3-1 Michigan here. I assume you're here for softball, not relay races. Wolverines on top in the bottom of the 4th. 7, 8, 9 due up for the Wolverines against Emily Levitt, who begins her 4th inning of work against Lexi Voss, who struck out swinging back in the 2nd. leads off a frame for the second time today. Levitt's first pitch to Voss. Off speed, catches the inside corner, 0-1.
Tell you what, this is the third straight softball broadcast I've had where we have talked about the relay races, though.
I mean, how can you just watch the relay race happen and like just sit here?
We talked about
you got it.
We talked about the freeze for a while in my broadcast with Bressler.
As the 0-1 bends outside 1-1. That's what I was thinking. It was like freeze-esque. But I think the freeze would win against even the red shirts.
I'm sure you wouldn't be surprised to know that Bressler had all sorts of trivia about that guy. You know he ran the 200 and 400 meter at Georgia State?
No, but
he made sure to let me
Bressler,
know that one.
for letting us know. And our audience. Here's the 1-1 to Voss. That's low and in, 2-1. Does he have any affiliations with Outback Steakhouse?
No, I don't think so. But apparently, from what Bressler tells me, and I would trust him as a credible source, someone from the Atlanta Braves just saw him running at Georgia State and was like, we should get this guy for our in-between inning entertainment.
Worked out as the 2-1 off speed catches the letters 2 and 2 to Lexi Voss. Voss worked a full count back in the second and ultimately went down swinging. Speaking of working at-bats, Kiki Thole is on deck. Fabulous 10-pitch at-bat. Ripped a single through the 5-hole back in the second. 2-2 to Voss is low. Clobbers the catcher, Sarah Kinch, in the face mask, and it's 3-2.
Yeah, that one took an awkward bounce. It hit, like, just in front of home plate and then, like you said, bounced up and hit her right in the face.
So 3-2 again to Voss. Michigan looks for a leadoff base runner for the second consecutive inning. Here comes the pitch, and Voss fouls it straight back. And we'll do the 3-2 again. Seventh pitch of the at-bat upcoming from Levitt to Voss, and these at-bats have been long and grueling all afternoon for Emily Levitt, whose pitch count continues to soar. Approaching 70 pitches on the afternoon.
Voss did strike out last time up, but did not go down easily.
Here comes the 3-2. Voss hammers it towards the gap in left center. That's going to get down and one hop the wall. Voss flying around first, and she's into second, sliding with a leadoff double. Lexi Voss with her second hit of the year. It was a bullet. And Michigan's got a leadoff base runner in scoring position with Kiki Thole coming to the dish.
Great at-bat by Lexi Voss. I mean, it doesn't get better than that. Works a full count, follows pitches off that she doesn't want, and then drives a double to the left center gap.
And a well-deserved recognition for Lexi Voss, who has struggled this season. Again, as we mentioned, just her second hit, but it was a bullet. She's going to be relieved here. Annabelle Widra will come in to pinch run for her, the freshman, as Voss takes the seat. And Kiki Thole at the dish.
And we're going to have a quick meeting in the infield as the second baseman, Strelo, calls an infield meeting to just talk things through.
And Levitt has been in trouble all afternoon. Really been knocked around, 5 hits and a walk, including that home run to Blair, 2 doubles. Michigan not only hitting the ball, they're hitting the ball hard this afternoon.
And looks like we might be seeing a pitching change. Someone runs down to retrieve Autumn Pease from the bullpen.
And Autumn Pease does a dab mid-jog. Not sure if she's going in just quite yet. Or is she? She is. So Emily Levitt's day is done. The book not yet closed. The runner at second is hers. So Levitt goes 3+ innings. Allows 5 hits, walks 2, strikes out 1, gave up 3 extra base hits across 16 batters faced. 69 pitches on the afternoon for Levitt.
As you can hear the Go Blue chants starting back up, led by Alex Derocco and Taylor Bump. The energy in the ballpark today has been fantastic. Obviously, the last home game of the season, you're going to get a packed house. The stands in the outfield are pretty much packed to the brim. We've seen Hutch down at third base trying to hype up the crowd as she's coaching third.
And I can hardly hear you over the alumni band blasting away down the sideline on the third base side. The tuba is just deafening.
So the new arm, Autumn Pease, will have Kiki Thole, Ella Mcveigh, and then the top of the order to work against with Annabelle Weidra standing at second base. Obviously, we mentioned she came in to pinch run for Lexi Voss.
Pease workhorse this year for Minnesota. She's pitched to a 4.21 ERA, 10-11 on the year across 134 and 2/3 innings pitched. Giving up a lot of hits, 165. Strikes out 130, so just about a batter per inning. Walked 51. Has given up 22 home runs. And Kiki Thole has 10 hits on the year. 3 of them have been home runs, so that's something to watch here. Michigan already has a home run today off the bat of Lexi Blair. First pitch to Thole is a strike, 0-1.
Thole letting that one go, just trying to feel out the zone, but that is a pitch that you do not want to throw twice if you're Autumn Pease. I mean, she left that one right on the plate, and a good hitter like Thole is going to drive that one.
Weidra, the runner at second. Second pitch of the day from Pease to Thole, just inside, 1-1. Thole worked the best at-bat of the day in the second, ripped a single into left field just past the diving shortstop, Dowell. Off an excellent at-bat, fell behind 0-2, worked it all the way to 3-2, and fouled off a number of pitches. Here's the 1-1 just below the knees. There's that tight strike zone again from Peter Blair, and it's 2-1, Thole in a hitter's count.
Weidra with a decent lead at second base. I mean, just props to her for everything she's done this season. Pitching, playing the infield, outfield, coming into pinch run. She's really done it all. The definition of a utility player for this Michigan team.
And only as a freshman, has a bright future ahead. Here's the 2-1. Thole chops it foul down the third base side. 2-2.
Again, just a beautiful showing of the quick hands by Kiki Thole. She fouled that one almost all the way behind her.
Weidra, the runner at second. No outs here in the bottom of the fourth, rather. 3-1 Wolverines. Here's the 2-2 to Thole. Tails outside. Ball 3. Another full count today for the Wolverines, who have worked a number of them, really making the Minnesota pitchers earn their outs.
If you're Pease, you're going to have to go right at Thole. She's not looking for a walk. More home runs than walks this year for Kiki Thole.
3-2 the count. Weidra, the runner at second. Thole eyeing her second hit of the afternoon. Here comes the 3-2. Swing and a miss. Went to the changeup and struck her out at Thole flailing in front. Great pitch selection, better execution. And Thole retired for the first out of the inning.
Great pitch there by Autumn Pease, like you mentioned. Changeup, got Thole way out in front of it. And that's going to be good for the first out of the inning.
And that'll pass the baton over to Ella Mcveigh. Laid down a sacrifice bunt as she runs up and lets the first pitch go by 1-0. That bunt came in the second inning. Advanced Thole to second, who was eventually stranded. A runner already at second here in Weidra. Pinch running for Voss, who ripped a double into the left center field gap to begin this half inning. Mcveigh hitting .244. The 1-0 from Pease. Mcveigh runs up, watches it go by, and it's 2-0.
If you're Minnesota, this is a huge out to get, especially with Christina Burkhart in the top of the order coming up. You do not want runners on first and second with one out.
2-0 the count. Pease has fallen behind. Here comes the pitch to Mcveigh. Cut on and miss on the rise ball, and it's 2-1.
Mcveigh just staying in, trying to swing away on that one. Comes up empty, chased it a little bit, but a decent cut.
Weidra again, the runner at second. She's pitch running for Voss, who doubled. One away here in the bottom of the fourth. Michigan staked to a 3-1 lead. Pease facing her second batter. Here comes the 2-1, and it tails low on the off-speed 3-1. And you theoretically have a place to put Mcveigh. First base is open, but you don't want to give her a free pass with Christina Burkhart looming on deck. 3-1 the count to the left-handed hitting Mcveigh. Weidra waiting to be driven in on second. Here comes Peace's pitch. Slap foul down the third base side again. Sends Carol Hutchins jumping out of the way, and the count is 3-2.
Got to protect here if you're Mcveigh. Again, with the top of the order coming up, you need and want as many base runners as you can.
Burkhart on deck, LeClaire in the hole. Michigan looking to pad the 3-1 lead. Widra, the runner at second. Here comes the 3-2. Mcveigh flares it into left field. That's down for a base hit. Widra had to hold at second because playing deep in the hole was Dowell, and Widra didn't get a great read on it. Wasn't sure if that ball might be caught. So first and second, one away. And the tables are set for Christina Burkhart.
Great position to be in if you're Michigan. Again, just reading off Christina Burkhart's stat line. 387 average, 25 RBIs, 11 stolen bases, and then 18 doubles, 6 triples, a 595 slugging percentage.
And looking to add to those impressive stats here. First pitch to Burkhart, lifted foul down the right field side, giving chase, but watching it sail into the stands is Evans. And it's 0-1. Burkhart 0 for 2 on the afternoon. Don't see that too often with her. She flew out to center in the first and grounded out to second to strand a runner in the second.
Sun pokes right through the clouds.
Left-handed batter against right-handed pitcher. Here's the 0-1. Burkhart lifts it to left this time towards the line and in foul territory. Making the catch is Jensen. Runners tag, and they both move up. So Heedy base running there for the Wolverines. Widra and then the back runner, Mcveigh, each moving up a base. So it goes in the books as a productive out for Burkhart, passing the baton to LeClaire. Widra at third, Mcveigh at second. 2 runners waiting to be driven in.
All LeClaire has to do is put one through the infield, and at least one, if not more, would score.
She banged one up the middle back in the first. First pitch to LeClaire, hammered to center right there, and making the catch is Danhartov, and that'll retire the side. So Michigan threatens but doesn't score, and it remains a 3-1 ball game as we head to the top of the 5th. 1 hit, no runs, 2 left. Wolverines up 3-1.
It's going to be 9, then top Chavez before heading back to the top of the order in Espelin, Jensen, and Evans. And it's going to be Alex Derocco to take the circle once more. We spoke to her incredible accolades. Was a preseason unanimous first-team All-Big Ten selection. Is currently sitting at 3rd in all of college softball in strikeouts. And, I mean, that's just been kind of the story of her career. She was top 3 in strikeouts pretty much every year of her career. And has been sitting up there with the greats in college softball pitching with names like Georgina Corrick, Megan Faramo, and the rest of the crew. She's got 2 strikeouts so far since entering halfway through the second inning. Looking for a few more here. Again, she'll have 9, then top Chavez, Espelin, Jensen, and Evans. The first 4 due up for the Golden Gophers. And they've got some catching up to do. The score sits 3-1 here at Alumni Field at the top of the 5th inning, as the sun continues to just slowly make its way out from behind the clouds.
There's been a lot of base runners today, but with the way this series has gone, not sure how much scoring is left. It was 1-0 yesterday in Michigan's favor, 3-2 Minnesota on Friday, so 3-1 this afternoon. Both teams have been starved for offense in their respective down seasons.
As the Alumni Band is just shredding out there in left field.
There's some guy with a trombone just jumping up and down.
They're just having fun.
I think we should just let them take it away.
Yeah.
Who needs us?
If we get like a 200-foot-long XLR cable, we can just run our Nats out there and just give it to the Alumni Band.
Hopefully that's in the budget.
We are underway here in the top of the 5th inning, and first pitch is a ball driven directly off the wall. It's going to be a close play at second base, but that one's going to go in as a double as Kayla Chavez wastes no time swinging at the first pitch and putting it off the wall for a leadoff double.
There's a shot off the bat of Chavez, and the wind is blowing out to center field. That ball needed no help from the wind, though. It just hammered a line drive, and thankfully for Michigan's case, able to stay in the ballpark.
That'll bring up the top of the order in Espelin, in a great situation to be in if you're Minnesota. Leadoff runner standing on second base, no outs, in the top of the order up.
We'll see if the top of the order can finally break through. Combined 0 for 6.
First pitch to Espelin is a rise ball way upstairs that she chases and fouls off for strike number 1. 0 for 2 on the day for Espelin. Grounded out to second in her first time up. Had a soft liner in foul territory to first base, and the third inning. The 0-1 is hit on the ground. McVeigh's going to come up and field it. Throws to third to get the lead runner, and a great play.
And that is just poor base running. The ball hit in front of you. Why are you breaking to third if you're Kaylee Chavez? Minnesota contesting that the runner was safe. But the runner was called out. Not sure what they're going to do about it. But Kaylee Chavez just cannot break for third on the ball hit to the shortstop. One of the cardinal rules of base running. Cannot make the first out at third, and you cannot break for third when you're at second with nobody out and the ball is hit in front of you. You're like, what are you doing? And that's going to prove very costly for Minnesota as they try to come back in this ball game.
I think the Minnesota coaching staff is trying to argue that Ella Mcveigh might have obstructed the runner, but she came up to field the ball cleanly.
Which just
like she has a right to the ball.
Right. And how can, I mean, obstruction or not, looks kind of silly to argue obstruction when you have that sort of base running gaffe.
But what looked to be a promising start to the inning is immediately cut at the knees for Minnesota. So Esplin will reach for the first time today on a fielder's choice, but Minnesota trades a runner on third with one out for a runner on first with one out. The wind up from Derocco. First pitch towards Jensen is high outside. His throw pops out of her stance to reel it in.
Especially against a pitcher of Derocco's caliber who isn't necessarily on her A game and wasn't yesterday either, but able to work her way out of trouble. You can't be just gifting outs on the base paths like that.
Second pitch Jensen's way is a called strike at the knee. She's grounded out to the pitcher both of her last times up. The first time to Bobby and last time into the glove of Derocco.
Looking for the trifecta here.
Esplin's got decent speed at first base, only has one stolen bag on the season, but 10 doubles tell the story there. The 1-1 again going high and outside. Jensen now ahead in this count 2-1. Jensen on deck. Or Jensen up at the plate, Evans on deck, excuse me. Both of them still looking for their first hit of the ball game. 2-1 their way. This one popped up foul. Jensen tried to lay down a sneaky bunt, but couldn't put it in play. The count now goes 2-2. Even more action down there in the Golden Gopher bullpen. Quick stoppage of play is home plate umpire Peter Blair wipes off the plate. We're set to go again. 2-2 count, one out, and a runner on first base in Esplin. The wind-up and delivery from Derocco. This one popped up. It's going to stay in fair territory, and Ella Mcveigh coming over to field it behind third base for out number 2.
So the rough day continues for Jensen. 2 comebackers and an infield fly.
That'll bring up Evans with 2 outs and a runner on first base. First pitch her way, change up just below the knees, called ball 1. Evans, a strikeout in the first and flew out in foul territory to Kiki Thole, who made that nice behind the head catch. She's ahead in this one 1-0. Chases the rise ball upstairs to even out the count 1-1 and fouls it right back over the TV cameras behind home plate. The pitcher coming in from the bullpen was Ansley Hollifield for Minnesota. Derocco delivers, changeup on 1-1, beautiful pitch. Chloe Evans just completely bailed out of that one. She wanted nothing to do with it.
You couldn't have placed that any better, especially with the tight strike zone that Peter Blair has been calling. Not too conducive to low strikes, but nabbed that one.
So with 2 strikes, threat of the bunt all but gone, Lexi Blair backs up to the edge of the dirt, and this one's driven deep down the right field line. Well foul, but it had the distance.
That was a bomb off the bat of Evans, Evans, who just jumped the gun a little bit. She was able to straighten that out, sent some fans scurrying around in the bleachers.
The wind again blowing out towards the outfield, kind of shifting from left to right as the moments go. Derocco taking a long time to get the sign, so Chloe Evans will call timeout and step out. Again, still looking for her first hit of this ball game. 0 for 2 thus far. 1-2 pitch from Derocco. This one hit high and deep towards right center field, and that one is gone. Forget about that one. A no-doubter off the bat of Chloe Evans, and we're tied up at 3.
Well, we mentioned a moment ago if she was able to iron one out, she'd send some fans scurrying around in the bleachers. That was a titanic blast off the bat of Chloe Evans. An absolute no-doubter that landed about 3 rows up from the top in the right center field bleachers and nearly went over them. Just a bomb off the bat of Chloe Evans, and a stunner as well. All of a sudden, we are all tied up here. A 3-0 lead has dissipated, and the long ball, which has plagued Alex Derocco at times this season, comes back to bite her again in grand fashion.
Left that one a bit too high in the zone, and Evans punishes it. And that's going to bring up another Minnesota hitter who launches this one over the left field wall and almost over the tall wall in center field of Ray Fisher Stadium. Natalie Danhartov goes back-to-back with Evans, and now Minnesota takes the lead.
Well, the Golden Gophers have just woken up and decided to obliterate softballs today. We didn't even have time to mention Danhartov's raw power. 16, now 17 home runs, and a slugging percentage that was .727 that now will surely go up. And she banged that one off the back of the baseball scoreboard in left second, whereas Evans's was a line drive shot. This was a mammoth moonshot, and Evans and Danhartov 3 and 4 in the Minnesota order go back to back, and Alex Derocco is standing in the circle, shoulders sagged, and this place is a little stunned.
It's going to be Sydney Straylow to step in, and first pitch her way is called a strike. Derocco was humming. She gave up the leadoff double, but then the defense made a nice play on some questionable base running from Minnesota, and looked like all the momentum was in favor of Michigan. As Derocco delivers on 0-1, this one missing high. But then, as you mentioned, back-to-back homers, a 2-run bomb off the bat of Evans, and then Natalie Danhartov with a monstrous solo shot towards left center field. That one might be the deepest ball I've ever seen hit at this ballpark.
And these are not wall scrapers. These are blasts, and that's 17 home runs given up on the season for Alex Derocco. She had a 2-game series in Northwestern where she gave up 6 and had settled down since then.
Derocco bounces right back and gets Sydney Straylow swinging to end the inning, but not before Minnesota puts up 3 runs on 2 blasts, one coming from Chloe Evans, one coming from Natalie Danhartov to take the lead here 4-3 at Alumni Field.
And Michigan has a lot of work to do. Trailing for the first time today, a 3-0 lead has evaporated. It's now 4-3 Golden Gophers. In a stunning fashion, the Wolverines just kick back on their heels. Can they recover? They've got 3 innings to play with to avoid ending their Alumni Field season on a sour note.
And Minnesota is still out there arguing that call at third base. I mean, I feel like at this point you just let that one go. Maybe it was just a sign.
Yeah. I think if I was Minnesota, I'd be pretty happy right now.
It's Lexi Blair and Taylor Bump, followed by Melita Livingston. 3-4-5 due up for the Wolverines. So a recipe for some more runs if they can put it in play. And be interested to see who comes out and takes the circle. Looks like it is going to be Pease again. So action in the Minnesota bullpen has stopped. And Amanda Pease will, or Autumn Pease rather, will take the circle once more.
And Autumn Pease all of a sudden finds herself the pitcher of record on the right side here. Still a ways to go in this game, though, in the bottom of the 5th.
Minnesota had seemed almost timid up at the plate all game long. And then Chavez starts off the innings swinging at the first pitch, driving a double to the wall. And then when Chloe Evans steps to the plate, hits that bomb towards right center field. And then Danhartov swings at the first pitch again and launches one over the left field wall.
Just 3 bombs in that inning if you include the double from Chavez. Minnesota bats quieted to that point in this series, woke up in a big day, a big way.
Blair has a home run of her own in this one. That, of course, coming back in the third inning. She'll look for some more here. First pitch her way is a called strike at the knee, so she's down in an 0-1 hole. Blair, a .324 hitter on the season. Looking to get things going here as Michigan now has to play catch-up. 0-1 changeup that rides into the dirt for ball number 1.
And as you start the catch-up effort, no batter you would rather have up than Lexi Blair.
Blair takes a deep breath, looks at her bat, and now settles in on that left-hand side. Righty on lefty here. Pease turns in, delivers on 1-1. This one hit on the ground. That's going to almost make its way through the infield. What a play by the second baseman, Strelo. Diving deep in the hole between first and second base, able to keep it in the infield. And the injury-ridden Blair, not as quick as usual, gets thrown out at first.
A web gem from Strelo, and she made it look easy. Full extension, diving to her left on the lip of the infield grass. Netting the ball in her webbing and easy throw to first. Impressive play. And just feels if you're Michigan right now, things aren't going your way.
Yeah, an unfortunate break. I mean, that ball probably should have gotten through the infield, and, you know, pre-injury Lexi Blair beats that one out 10 times out of 10 is Anna Pease misses way high and outside. I mean, that one was in the other batter's box.
She's all smiles about it. But
I don't know if that one slipped, but, I mean, that didn't touch anything besides the back net.
I was ready to swing at it.
So the errant pitch puts Taylor Bump in a 1-0 advantage count here. The 1-0 missing below her knees. That'll make it 2-0. Bump has walked both of her first 2 times up today. She scored in the first off the double from Livingston last time up, and the third walked and then was left stranded at first.
She's been very patient today, hasn't chased much. Reflected in those 2 walks and this 2-0 count in her third plate appearance.
Sitting on a 2-0 pitch, this one right down Broadway for a called strike 1.
How many 2-0 changeups have we seen today?
Quite a few. Quite a few. I mean, we've still yet to see Taylor Bump swing the bat today. We've now seen Bump take 11 straight pitches. It's the 2-1 now on the way from Pease. Missing high and outside and make it 12 straight pitches that we've watched Taylor Bump take.
Michigan needs a base runner. Down 4-3. 4 unanswered runs for Minnesota in the last 2 frames.
Pease has to come to her here. It's a 3-1 count. 1 out, no runners on for Taylor Bump. The delivery and missing high and inside for ball number 4. Make it 3 straight walks for Taylor Bump.
Taylor Bump now with 25 walks on this season. Next closest Wolverine is Christina Burkhart with 14. So perhaps we shouldn't be all too surprised by her afternoon thus far.
That's got to be frustrating. In your last game at home, your first 3 times up, you don't even get to swing the bat.
Should get another at-bat the way this one is trending. We'll see.
First pitch on the way to Melina Livingston had the big double that broke things open in the first inning, and she watches the first pitch changeup for a called strike.
Livingston got Michigan off on the right foot in the first, looking to rediscover that knack here in the 5th. As the alumni band gets into it again.
Peter Blair motions balls in play, and the 0-1 towards Livingston. A changeup on the outside corner. That'll make it 0-2. Beautiful pitch from Autumn Pease.
And Pease has settled in. She's had 4 outs, given up a hit and a walk. But besides that bump at bat, she's looked good in the circle in relief of Emily Levitt, who labored through 3+ innings.
0-2 pitch towards Livingston. This one changeup again, swung on and missed. Beautiful pitch, back-to-back off speed. Sits down Livingston, and now that's 2 outs for Michigan as Ellie Sieler steps to the plate.
And that is how you make quick work of a very good batter. Just 1, 2, 3, down goes Livingston. Never really had a chance at the plate there. And now the baton pass to Sieler with Bump still on at first.
Righty on lefty here. The delivery towards Sieler on the fresh count. This one goes up and hits her in the head. She'll take a quick second to shake it off, and now make her way down first base.
Thankfully, Sieler looks like she's A-okay.
As looks like we're potentially going to have a pinch runner here. I would assume for Taylor Bump if it comes in.
Signaling to the bench right now.
Just waiting to see somebody come out of the dugout so we can give you the call on who it is.
A slow-moving softball game today. A bit of a rarity.
And there it is. It's going to be Sierra Kirsten to come in and pinch run for Taylor Bump. She gets some claps as she heads back to the dugout.
So Kirsten carries the potential game-tying run. Sieler with the potential game go-ahead run on at first. And the batter will be Lexi Voss.
So a pretty uneventful day for Taylor Bump so far at the plate. Has walked all 3 times up, was scored her first time up, but the other 2 times she was pinch ran for.
After she showed her wheels in the first.
First pitch on the way to Lexi Voss, misses lone outside for ball number 1.
Well, Voss roped a double into the left center field gap her last time up. Only her second hit of the year, looking for that same magic here. Could drive in a couple of runs.
Plenty of speed on the base pass if she's able to do it again. 1-0 pitch to Voss. Big swing and a miss on a changeup. She was way out in front of it. Nice pitch by Pease to keep her off balance.
And Pease has done a really nice job of mixing up those pitches and the change of pace with the change of speeds, and has had Michigan batters well out in front.
Pease checks the wristband on 1-1, now spins and delivers. This one to Voss, high and outside, make it ball number 2. Following the monstrous inning from Minnesota, Michigan still playing catch-up here. For just tuning in, the score 4-3 after Minnesota put up 3 runs in the top of the 5th off 2 Gopher blasts. 2-1 pitch on the way from Pease. That one missing outside, make it a 3-1 count.
And Voss is to reach. Kiki Thole, the batter on deck.
If you're Pease, you have to go right at Lexi Voss here. With the power of Kiki Thole coming up next with bases loaded, that'd be a dangerous situation to be in. 3-1 pitch towards Voss. This one hit in the air, soft line drive. That one's going to drop. Kirsten's going to round third. It's going to be a close play at the plate. Errant throw. That one's going to put a runner on third base as Sieler rounds hard. But we're tied back up. Lexi Voss delivers for the 2nd straight time. A single that drops down and scores Kirsten from 2nd. And then both runners advance to 2nd and 3rd off the errant throw. We're tied back up here at Alumni Field.
Have a day, Lexi Voss, your 2nd and 3rd hits of the season. No one bigger than that one. Dunked it into right center. Couldn't have placed it any better between that Bermuda triangle, the 2 outfielders and the 2nd baseman. And then Danhartov thought she might have had a play at the plate, just airmailed the throw. It caromed off the backstop. Then that moves both runners up, and now Michigan primed for more. With runners at 2nd and 3rd, 2 away, and Kiki Thole looking to give the Wolverines the lead again.
First pitch on the way to Thole. Rides high in the zone for ball number 1.
I just love the energy at the ballpark today. Minnesota's dugout was loud when they were in front. The Michigan dugout has been loud. The band, the stands, the fans.
Got any more words that rhyme with fans?
I ran out.
This one hit high in the air towards left field from Kiki Thole. That one's back to the wall, and forget about it. A 3-run blast from Kiki Thole, and Michigan is back on top.
We mentioned that 3 of Kiki Thole's three of Kiki Thole's hits on the season. She has 9, now 10. 3 were home runs. Now it's 4 home runs. There's that power we were talking about. High shot into left field. It was lofting. Thought it might have a chance. That ball just kept going, aided by the wind a little bit, but there's that raw power from Kiki Thole. Tanked a 3-run shot. What an answer for Michigan, and this game just keeps delivering. It's now 7-4 Wolverines. Minnesota struck for 3 in the 5th. Michigan knocked back on its heels. How's 4 straight runs in the bottom of the 5th?
First pitch to Ellie Mcveigh is fouled off, but Minnesota puts 3 runs across on 2 home runs in the top half of the inning, and Michigan comes right back and says, hey, I can do that too. That one an absolute shot off the bat.
An offensive explosion. We had 6 runs total in the first 2 games of the series. Now it's 7-4.
Pitch number 2 to Ella Mcveigh, high and outside, so this inning continues to move on. Mcveigh had a single in her last time up in the 4th. First time up, had a sac bunt that moved the runner. 1-1 pitch her way from Pease. Change up, catching the outside half, and you hear some groans from the Maize and Blue faithful here. That one, again, just every once in a while, the zone has been pretty consistent from Peter Blair, but every once in a while, one squeaks through.
It's like the Matrix.
Mcveigh lines up the bat on 1-2. The delivery from Pease. Rings her up in the outside half. A late call from Peter Blair, and that's going to do it for the inning, but not before Michigan puts up 4 more runs.
You asked me if I had any other words that rhymed. We had the bands, the fans, the stands. I'm going to pull a slant rhyme. And we had the slam for Kiki Thole. 3-run shot. Gives Michigan the lead, breaks the tie, 7-4 Wolverines. What a finale here at Alumni Field, and we're not done yet. We're in the top of the 6th, 7-4 Michigan on top. And Alex Derocco all of a sudden staked with that 3-run lead again, going back to work.
She's got Dowell, Kinch, and Dre, 6, 7, 8 due up for the Gophers, followed by Chavez, who got things leaded off last inning with that double.
Derocco first entered this game with 1 out in the 2nd in relief of Megan Bobian, who started and ran into trouble. Walking 2 batters, lost the strike zone. Derocco able to work her way out of it, stranding both runners. It's been up and down since for Michigan's ace. Her line so far reads as 3.2 innings pitched, 5 hits, 4 runs, including those 2 home runs. 65 pitches across 17 batters faced. She blew a 3-0 lead. Now she's got a 3-run lead back, and 6 more outs, and Michigan goes home happy in its home finale of the season.
An interesting little medley we got going over there. It was Blues Brothers mixed with Sesame Street, and then I'm a little confused, but I like it.
The alumni band is just having a time. I think we should arrange something where we broadcast amidst them. Just might be hard to hear, but
Nick Hornberg and I went to
yes.
East Lansing my freshman year, so now close to 3 years ago, and they put us directly behind the MSU band. I mean, I could reach out and grab a tuba if I wanted to, and the entire broadcast, we couldn't check the live chat because MSU's Wi-Fi was just awful.
Yes.
So the entire broadcast, we just kept saying every few seconds, I don't know if you can hear us, but whatever. Michigan scores a few more points, this, that, and the other thing. It was all around a great broadcast. Michigan ended up winning. But enough with that. We're playing back to softball.
The band has piped down the 0-1 to Dowell. Change up for a strike. We're riding the high of the Nick Hornberg reference here at Alumni Field. 0-2 the count to McKenna Dowell leading off the top of the 6th. Dowell ripped a double down the right field side her last time up. Derocco ahead 0-2, rides the rise ball high 1-2, looking for that shutdown inning. Minnesota couldn't get it after the Golden Gophers scored 3. They gave up 4. Derocco looking to silence Minnesota and quell any hopes of a comeback in the 6th. Here comes the 1-2 to Dowell, and she lays off the low off speed 2-2.
Nice pitch there from Derocco, just mixing things up, trying to keep Dowell on her toes.
Kinch on deck, then Dre to follow. Here in the 6, 7, 8 in the Golden Gopher lineup. The 2-2, Dowell lifts a pop-up. Shading her eyes is Livingston and making the catch in shallow center field for the first out of the inning.
Chased that one well upstairs. Almost kind of swung over her head like she was throwing an axe.
Can of corn, 1 up, 1 down, and that'll bring up Sarah Kinch, the catcher. Was pinch hit for her last time up. Struck out back in the 2nd against Derocco with a few runners on. Derocco into the windup and deals, rides high 1-0.
Kinch just looked uneasy on that pitch. She was kind of in her motion, trying to load up, and took her step way before Derocco threw.
Derocco overmatched her in the 2nd, struck her out on 4 pitches. Here comes the 1-0. Bends outside, 2-0. Command's been a bit of a trouble for everyone who's been in the circle this afternoon on both sides. Beaubien and Derocco struggled. Levitt struggled before being relieved as well. 2-0 the count. Derocco deals. That's just a bit high. Ball 3. So the last thing you want to be doing here with a 3-run lead is allowing any free passes.
Yeah, I mean, we saw Beaubien do a good job of it. Just put the ball over the plate, let him put it in play, and just have some faith in your defense.
3-0, check swing foul off the first base side, 3-1.
Kinch still in an advantageous position. 3-1 hitters count when she steps back in.
Dangerous spot for Derocco. Rather go after her, though, than let her walk to first. 3-1 pitch to Kinch. Down the middle, fastball, 3-2. Kinch not taking the bat off her shoulders.
I've mentioned this a few times this year, but no matter what the count is, it could be 0-2, it could be 3-0. It never feels like Alex Derocco is out of the fight.
Here comes the 3-2. Down the middle, strike 3 call. Not out of the fight indeed. Works her way back from 3-0 to a strikeout. 2 up, 2 down in the 6th for Derocco.
Beautiful pitch there from Alex Derocco to ring her up. And that's going to bring up number 8 hitter Dre with 2 outs here.
Dre now, right-handed hitter, lifts an infield fly. Livingston on the lip of the infield grass makes the catch. 1, 2, 3, easy peasy for Alex Derocco. Sets 6, 7, 8 in the Minnesota lineup down in order and gets the shutdown inning that Michigan desired. We're heading to the bottom of the 6th here at Alumni Field. Wolverines up 7-4.
And you want some motivation to get you pumped up. Michigan comes in after the 1-2-3 inning, gets in their huddle with a 3-run lead, and Taylor Bump is screaming, "We're not done. We're not done." They've got the top of the order up and looking for a few more insurance runs here before we head to the top of the 7th. It's going to be Christina Burkhart, Audrey LeClaire, and Lexi Blair, the first 3 Wolverines due up.
We know that Minnesota can score in a hurry with that flurry of runs, those back-to-back blasts in the 5th, and so Bump's message is the right one. Michigan looking to add to a 3-run lead before heading into the final frame. Wolverines will send up the top of the order. Burkhart, LeClaire, and Blair. And Burkhart has been held in check so far this afternoon. A fly out to center, a ground out to short, and then a force out.
The throwdown from Kinch comes, and we are just about underway again. Immediately following this game will be the senior ceremonies, so the fans haven't really gone anywhere. Sometimes, you know, in a ball game where one team leads by, you know, a decent chunk, especially later in the day, and maybe some threats of rain, you'll see fans start to trickle out. But the Mason Blue faithful are here, and if anything, the stands are filling up even more as the game goes on.
And a game this entertaining, can you really blame them? As Autumn Peace takes the circle, beginning her 3rd full inning of work. Christina Burkhart, left-handed hitter, looking to get on base for the first time today as Michigan eyes to tack on to its 7-4 lead. First pitch from Peace to Burkhart, flashes bunt and fouls it straight back. 0-1.
Burkhart just looking for anything to get going here. She's 0 for 3 today with a pop-up to center field, a ground out to second, and then a sac fly in her last time up.
That average dipped down to 384. Feels weird saying falls to 384, but so is the case with Burkhart, who takes the 0-1 low, 1-1.
Yeah, just a measly 384 batting average.
Still tops in the Michigan lineup by quite some margin. Looking to bump that back up a little bit here. 1-1 the count. Peace looks at the wristband. Now deals. Burkhart rips it to right. Down the line. Gone! Home run, Christina Burkhart, right on cue. Erases those memories of the 0 for 3 day with a solo shot to right that just snuck over the railing. Got out of here in a hurry, and it's 8-4 Michigan. How about an insurance run for the Wolverines?
An insurance run, her first hit of the day, and her first home run as a Michigan Wolverine.
All in your last home game. How about that?
What a way to get started for Christina Burkhart. And Michigan, like you mentioned, getting a little bit more comfortable here as the score now sits 8-4.
And that average up to 388. A little more respectable.
Again, a measly 388.
And so Michigan gets the insurance run that it was looking for. 8-4 Wolverines. They might be having a pitching change here for the Golden Gophers, whose pitching has struggled all day long. 9 hits now for the Wolverines, 2 home runs, base runners galore. Michigan's left 5 on base as well. And the new pitcher for the Wolverines, or for the Golden Gophers rather, is going to be Ansley Holyfield. She's thrown 5 innings this season. She's given up 11 runs, just 7 of them earned, but she's walked 11 batters in 5 innings. So command, which has plagued all 4 pitchers to pitch on either side today, is not Holyfield's strength either.
Michigan will have practically the top of the order back up. It's LeClaire, Blair, Bump, 2, 3, 4, following the home run from Christina Burkhart. Bases empty, no outs, and in a position to put a few more across.
Eight to 4 Wolverines. Fantastic day so far for Michigan. They came back from the deficit after blowing the early 3-run lead. And emphatic answers. 3 home runs now for Michigan today. Lexi Blair a shot to center. Kiki Thole a shot to left. Christina Burkhart completing it with a shot to right. Spraying the ball around the diamond. Michigan not done just quite yet. 8-4 the score. Nobody out here in the bottom of the 6th. 1 run already home. No one on. A fresh slate for Audrey LeClaire, left-handed batter. First pitch of the day from Ansley Holyfield. Bends outside 1-0.
If you're Minnesota, you just have to minimize damage here. You already have to get 4 to tie it, at least 5 to take the lead in the top of the 7th. So any more that Michigan puts across here just makes your job harder and harder.
1-0 the count to LeClaire. Upstairs 2-0.
And you got to think, if you're Michigan, you're just going to be as patient as can be up at the plate with an inexperienced pitcher in Holyfield. And the comfortable lead already, you don't want to take any chances and give Minnesota any freebies.
Holyfield looking to find the zone. Here comes the 2-0 to LeClaire. Low and away, ball 3. Looking ahead to the bottom of, or the top of the 7th. Minnesota has 9, 1, and 2 due up in its order. That's Chavez and Espelin and Jensen. But a ways to go to get to that point because Ansley Holyfield has come in and the strike zone has eluded her. Audrey LeClaire keeping that bat on her shoulders, ahead in the count 3-0. Here comes the pitch down the middle, 3-1. So Holyfield finds the zone for the first time today on pitch number 4 of her outing.
Even though it's the bottom of the order due up for Minnesota, that is scary. We flash back to the 5th inning. That's exactly what got things started. The leadoff double from Chavez led to the back-to-back home runs a few moments later.
Derocco will be looking for some revenge in that scenario. Here comes the 3-run on the outside corner, 3-2. So Holyfield, 2 straight strikes after 3 straight balls, and the count is full.
Michigan fans unhappy with that one. That one seemed to be a bit high and outside, but LeClaire will have to dig in and protect here with a full count.
It's not like Peter Blair to expand the strike zone. Here comes the 3-2 from Holyfield. Fouled straight back. LeClaire with an ugly hack, but just got a piece of it. 1 for 3 on the day. Singled and scored back in the first. Brought home the first run of the game. Coming home on the double from Livingston, which feels like ages ago with all the scoring that's happened since. 3-2 the count. Holyfield looks at her wrist for the shine. Here comes the pitch. LeClaire flares it into left, falling fast. That's going to land for a base hit in front of Jensen. And Audrey LeClaire, with her 2nd hit of the afternoon, gives Michigan a base runner for Lexi Blair.
Nice at-bat there from Audrey LeClaire. Saw 3 straight balls, then 2 questionable strike calls. Wasn't phased, fouled off a pitch till she got one she liked, and then just let Holyfield do all the work for her. She just took it to left field, right where that ball wanted to go, And Michigan's got another base runner here.
We've seen some hard hit contact for Michigan today. I mean, 3 home runs will do that, but some dunks as well, well-placed dunks, and I guess some bloop and a blast that's kind of what happens today for Michigan's offense. Is Blair takes a fastball at the letters, 0-1. Speed on first for LeClaire. She's stolen 10 bases on the year, been caught just twice. Michigan has Minnesota rather has a stolen base today. The only activity we've seen on the base paths. 0-1 to Blair as a home runner of her own back in the third. Takes the first pitch at the knees, 0-2. So Hollifield covering all of the strike zone to get ahead on Lexi Blair. Bump looms on deck.
You'd expect this ball is going to play historically. Lexi Blair not one to strike out, or at least not one to strike out easily.
Has just 12 strikeouts on the season. Comes the 0-2. And Blair lays off the changeup in the dirt, 1-2.
Taylor Bump looming on deck, looking to just swing the bat for the first time today. She's been walked all 3 times up, the first 2 times on 4 pitches, the third on 5.
1-2 the count to Hollifield, or from Hollifield. Dips low, another off speed, 2-2. So good patient eye by Lexi Blair, per usual with her. LeClaire, the runner at first. What could be Blair's final at-bat ever here at Alumni Field. The senior outfielder, left-handed hitter. Already has a home run this afternoon, looking for more. It's 8-4 Wolverines. Here comes the 2-2 to Blair. Popped it up, fouled on the third base side, giving chase is Chavez, and it lands untouched. So Blair stays alive. 6th pitch of the at-bat upcoming.
That one just looked awkward off the bat. I mean, it was tailing hard towards the line right away, but the wind blowing the opposite direction kind of kept it up, blew it around. It changed direction about 3 times midair.
We've started off the game with no wind, and I think we've seen the wind change directions a number of times, covering all the bases here. 2-2 to Blair. LeClaire, the runner at first. None away here in the 6th. A runner already home. The pitch upstairs on the off-speed pitch, and it's 3-2. So Hollifield dancing around the strike zone.
She came right at Blair on the first 2 pitches of the at-bat, and then it seems almost like she got timid.
0-2 to 3-2. Blair trying to turn it into a base knock or a walk. Here comes the pitch from Hollifield. Blair rips it to center, and easing back and making the bit of a leaping catch is Danhartov. That was a scorcher off the bat of Lexi Blair that somehow just kind of died even with the wind. And Danhartov, a little bit of a hop, able to make the catch. And LeClaire stays put at first.
That'll bring up Taylor Bump with 1 out and a runner on. It's still LeClaire at first base following her single.
All eyes on Bump as she looks to walk for her 4th time today. Another player in her final game here at Alumni Field. LeClaire on at first. First pitch from Hollifield. Down the middle. 0-1. So no swing of the bat from Bump yet, but a strike. A bit of a change of pace. Hollifield readies. Here comes the 0-1 to Bump. Off speed, up and away. 1-1.
We mentioned 25 walks this season from Taylor Bump, the most on the team by quite some margin. Just a testament to how patient and disciplined she is up there at the dish.
1-1 the count. A run home in the inning on the home run from Burkhart. There comes the pitch to Bump. Low and in, 2-1. Just such a good eye for Taylor Bump, who, as we mentioned, leads the team in walks with 25.
I mean, that's just a story of a smart and experienced player.
Not everything has gone right for Taylor Bump this year. She's marred in a deep slump to begin the season, but has worked her way out of it over these last few weeks. Here comes the 2-1 coming towards us, just in front of us, and it's caught. That was ticketed for our window.
If I really wanted to, I probably could have leaned out the window and maybe gotten a hand on it. But I told you, there's been a couple that have gotten over the fence.
My window.
But that one, a big pitch on the day. That's the first time Taylor Bump has swung in 4 at-bats so far.
2-2 now to Bump. Bump lifts a high fly ball, deep left center. Danhartov easing back, should have a play on it. On the track, makes the catch. So Bump gave it a ride. And it'll just go down as a long F8. 2 outs now. LeClaire still at first with Melina Livingston stepping at the dish.
That ball was hit sky high, and that might have been the downfall of Taylor Bump there. That ball on a bit more of a line lands almost in Alumni Field. I mean, she crushed that thing.
Pretty similar to Tholes, except the wind blowing towards right this time. Tholes able to get out. Bump stayed in the park. First pitch to Livingston at the knees for a strike. 0-1.
Livingston got things opened up for Michigan back in the bottom half of the first inning. That 2 RBI double.
Got the Wolverines off on the right foot. Hollifield has settled in. Here's the 0-1. Livingston rips it to second. Right there to make the play is Strelo. Throws on to first for the final out of the inning. Some hard contact in the inning for the Wolverines. 1 run to show for it. The scorching homer off the bat of Christina Burkhart. The insurance run that Michigan needed. It's 8-4 Wolverines heading to the top half of the 7th. Alex Derocco looking to put on the finishing touches of what would be a series victory.
It's Chavez and then Espelin, followed by Jensen. 9, then Top. But Minnesota has showed that the bottom of the order can get things going. Chavez started things off in the 5th with that leadoff double that led to 3 runs being scored. That put Minnesota out in front before Michigan's monstrous bottom half of that 5th inning. A few substitutions. It's going to be Lauren Essman at first base, in for Lexi Blair. But other than that, it's staying the same. Sierra Kirsten over in right field as well. But it's Alex Derocco in the circle as some Hail to the Victors chants ring throughout the stands.
Oh, you got the alumni band here. Of course, they're going to rile up the crowd.
Derocco with 4 strikeouts so far in this one. 3 swinging, 1 looking. She's going to look to deliver big here in the 7th inning. Again, 9, then Top. Chavez, Espelin, and Jensen to start things off. And last minute in comes Audrey LeClaire, and we'll send Sierra Kirsten to the bench. So other than Lauren Essman at first, everything else has stayed the same. We have a quick stoppage of plays. Peter Blair steps out, not quite sure what is going on, but looks like we're waiting for the TV signal, and now we're set to go. Sun poking through the clouds here, wind blowing towards dead center field. And the first pitch on the way from Alex Derocco. This one a rise ball, missing just upstairs for ball number 1. Essman and Bump playing well in front of the bags. Outfield playing pretty much straight up, middle of the infield playing back. Derocco's 1-0, a changeup. They're going to peel down to first base on the check swing, but first base umpire Elizabeth Hammerschmidt says no. The count goes 2-0 now.
Mr. Derocco just got to throw strikes. No free passes. Got a 4-run lead. 3 outs to get. Find the zone.
2-0 hitters count is popped up towards center field. Christina Burkhart, plenty of time to settle under it, and that's good for out number 1. Michigan inching closer and closer to the series victory, and a victory here in their last game at Alumni Field.
Can of corn, easy as it gets for Burkhart in center. Especially with the sun having gone back behind the clouds for the time being.
That'll bring up Espelin. Reached base for the first time back in the 5th inning on a fielder's choice. Ended up scoring. And now first pitch her way is a changeup that just misses. I mean, that ball was about as pretty as they come. Kiki Thole turns around and asks where it was.
We have seen some great changeups on both sides amongst all pitchers today.
Derocco checks the wristband, now takes a deep breath. 1-0 delivery on the way. Changeup again, this one well in the dirt. That one no doubtedly a ball. The count goes 2-0. Settling in now is Espelin on that left-hand side, trying to get things going for the Gophers here. The 2-0 pitch rides up near her face for make it 3-0.
Some chin music there, and Derocco again struggling to find the zone. The end is in sight. He's got to throw some strikes.
Wolverines have proven to be solid on the defensive side as Derocco walks Espelin on 4 pitches.
And
Espelin has some words for her.
Espelin, after the second dose of chin music, a bit of an aggressive throw of the bat back towards the third base dugout. Wasn't so much a toss as an underhanded chuck. Some oohs and ahs from the faithful.
She definitely had some words for Derocco. She started
She
making
was
her way down the first baseline.
Not a happy camper there. Nothing like some good old extracurriculars here.
As Hutch comes out and has a quick mound meeting, you can see Derocco not phased at all. She's just giggling out there in the circle, shaking it off. So with Espelin on first base, the responsibilities slide to Jensen. It's Jensen, then Evans. And, of course, Chloe Evans, the one that really got things started with that 2-run home run back in the 5th inning. So Espelin on first, decent speed, has 1 stolen base on the year. And Ellie Jensen up at the dish. First pitch from Derocco, just missing low.
Peter Blair getting an earful from the fans right behind him.
And Hutch stepped out of the dugout to let him know. After that call, he like touched his chest, almost like the kind of signal you do like when you miss a shot in basketball and you're like, my bad. The 1-0 from Derocco, this one missing well upstairs. That one definitely a ball, so the count 2-0. The Michigan fans are getting antsy here. They're getting loud. 2-0 pitch on the way from Derocco. This one just going low again.
Gonna start.
And it seems almost as if Peter Blair is kind of squeezing Alex Derocco here. The zone has shrunk drastically.
I knew it!
Deep breath from Derocco. 3-0 delivery.
Yeah, you did.
That one right down Broadway for a called strike 1.
I don't want to say things are getting dangerous just yet, but the big hitters are looming. Evans and Danhartov. Saw what they did to Derocco last go-around.
The delivery on 3-1. This one rides upstairs. And Espelin's going to take second base for free, but took a quick little round. So 1 out and now 2 runners on, one of which is in scoring position in Espelin. And that's going to bring up Chloe Evans. Hutch is going to have a quick word with home plate umpire Peter Blair, and it's going to be Megan Beaubien to re-enter. So some tears from Derocco as she hands the ball off to Beaubien and will walk off the field for her last time here at Alumni Field. Met with a standing ovation, and rightfully so. One of the greats in Michigan softball history.
Well, and it's fitting that these two co-aces who have been riding each other's tails and making each other better for the past few years. Derocco relieved Beaubien. It's Beaubien's time to relieve Derocco. Derocco picked her up. Beaubien's back. See if she can do the same. Would be a fitting ending to their home careers here at Michigan.
When Beaubien was relieved early in this ball game, you could see she was visibly upset, like almost in tears coming off the field. Very glad to see her get her redemption here.
Against the 2 best hitters in the Minnesota lineup, who each hit stunning home runs their last times up.
She'll have Evans and then Danhartov to work with. You mentioned both of which hit home runs. Chloe Evans, the 2-run blast, and then Danhartov, the monster slam to left field that was the 3rd and final run of that bottom of the 5th inning. Michigan holds a comfortable 4-run lead here, but with these two up at the dish, nothing is really comfortable. Two runners on base. The tying run is on deck.
Beaubien was able to strike out Evans back in the 1st inning. Walked in Hartog on 4 pitches, which began the end of her afternoon way back in the 2nd. Feels like a whole nother game.
That feels like a long time ago. Beaubien's first pitch after the re-enter is good for a strike. That one painting the outside corner.
She lost the strike zone in the second, which foretold her exit. Good to see her able to find the zone on the first pitch here.
0-1 pitch on the way from Beaubien. This one changeup hit in the air towards center field, finds the glove of Christina Burkhart, and that's going to be good for out number 2.
Well, for all the good changeups we've seen today, that was not the best, and Evans was right on it, stayed back, but hung up just enough for Burkhart. It was hit right at her. And so Michigan now 1 out away.
That'll bring up Danhartov. We mentioned her monster slam her last time up. She's 2 for 2 today with a walk and a stolen base. A single in the 4th, a solo shot in the 5th. And Beaubien looking for her redemption here. First pitch her way is hit deep towards left field, but well foul for strike number 1.
Danhartov jumping on that first pitch again. She did it last time to the tune of a solo shot to left.
This I love you Megan chants come from the stands. These Michigan fans are full of energy here. 0-1 count with 2 outs. 2 runners on. The delivery from Beaubien. Just missing outside.
And Thole held that there again for an extra beat. Nothing to bait Peter Blair, though. He is stern behind the plate.
Following the questionable 0-1 call, the count's going to be even. Beaubien checks the wristband, spinning the ball in that left hand. The windup now, and the pitch. This one, a changeup fouled off.
Talk about being in front of a pitch. I mean, that changeup was going to skip to the plate, and Danhartov just flicked her bat way out in front of the plate. Somehow got a piece of it. And 1 strike is all Michigan needs to get to secure a win in the home finale and a win of the series.
The fans are on their feet here at Alumni Field. Megan Beaubien looking for redemption. The 1-2 count, 2 outs. The windup and pitch towards Danhartov fouled off.
A little extra something on that pitch from Beaubien. That was about as fast a pitch as we've seen her throw this afternoon.
So this at-bat will go farther, and the Michigan faithful will have to get on their feet once more. She's re-entered here in the top of the 7th, looking to close things out. 1-2 pitch on the way for Megan Beaubien. 2 outs. Here's the delivery. This one, rise ball that misses high. And that one makes its way to the backstop. Both runners are going to advance. So now runners on 2nd and 3rd, 2 in scoring position here.
She overthrew that one. Those 2 runs inconsequential in the grand scheme of things. Beaubien just has to focus on the batter, who is Danhartov.
The count's even at 2-2. Again, Beaubien just needs 1 more to close things out. The windup with 2 outs. This one popped up, covering a lot of ground to come up and catch it is Audrey LeClaire, and that's going to do it. Michigan rallies from behind and takes the lead to win the series here on Senior Day in Ann Arbor. For the last time from Alumni Field, the Michigan Wolverines take it home. Final score 8-4. Megan Beaubien's going to get the win.
Well, Derocco entered in the 2nd to pick up Beaubien. Beaubien brings it full circle, enters in the 7th to pick up Derocco. The bats came to play. They haven't often this year, but 10 hits, including 3 home runs. Michigan dug itself a hole after giving up the lead and came right back with an emphatic answer. Just a thrilling, great victory today for the Wolverines. And it's win number 1,900 for Carol Hutchins. Good stories abound today in the home finale at Alumni Field.
Lexi Blair with a home run in the 3rd inning. Kiki Thole with a home run in the 5th. And Christina Burkhart with 1 final. Just an extra insurance run in the bottom of the 6th inning. 8-4 is the final score. Again, Michigan will do their senior ceremonies pretty shortly here. But what a day it was. They jumped right on things early in the bottom of the 1st. And now the senior ceremonies will commence, but that's going to do it for our coverage here at WCBN Sports from the last time from Alumni Field today. And for the last time this season, my name is Charlie Brigham. Alongside me, it has been Jared Greenspan. What a game and what a season. Thank you for tuning in and thank you for listening as always. And we're going to leave you this time like we always do with a good night and a Go Blue.